TMASTL.com, bringing people and properties together.
I'm Tim McKernan here with Action Jackson, talking to you about Mark Hanna. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, whether it be saving up for their child's education or planning for their own retirement and everything in between.
Whether you're like me and just getting started with your financial planning, or you're already retired, call Mark Hanna.
It all starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs and design the right strategy for you and your future.
Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors and insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
If you're sick of having slow internet that doesn't reach every nook and cranny of your house, I'm here to introduce Whisper, the rural internet provider with no hidden fees, no contracts, and high speeds, all for a low cost. Whisper offers first-class customer service that'll help you set up and answer any questions along the way. And Whisper is offering free installation now till the end of October. Call Whisper at 800-765-7772 to learn more and use promo code TMA to get free installation. That's 800-765-7772 with promo code TMA.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day. TMA presents their second ever trivia night, November 11th at Tim's alma mater, St. Gabe's, starting at 7:30 p.m. A little different than last year. Not just TMA trivia, all trivia, sports, entertainment, STL-centric, and a few rounds of TMA trivia thrown in for good measure. And it's hosted by Tim, Doug, Iggy, Plowsy, Action Jackson, and whoever else is on the show. You can purchase single tickets, tables of 8, or anything in between. Tickets are on sale now and are $45 a person. A portion of the proceeds from the event will go to St. Gabe's. Tickets include food from Salt and Smoke and all your Anheuser-Busch beer. But feel free to bring your own food and drink too. Another TMA Trivia Night, November 11th. Get more info and find out how to buy tickets at TMASTL.com. Rise and shine, St. Louis. It's the morning after on KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. At the morning after STL on YouTube and on TMASTL.com with Tim McKernan, Doug Vaughn, Iggy Strode, the Plowboy, and Action Jackson.
7:07 in St. Louis. You are listening to TMA. Timothy Michael McKernan, Douglas Elvin Vaughn, the Plowhawk, Action Jackson with you. Ken Strode not available today, Doug. He will not be in today.
They have big corporate meetings in Minneapolis today?
Yeah, I think they're actually projecting Phoenix today.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
Probably where he is.
Doing annuals. Oh, Ken Strode has just walked in. He has just walked in. And we welcome in Action Jackson's in the Horton Watkins Studios. We welcome you as a friend of the Feather to text in at your convenience via the EDF Group text inbox 314-881-TMA5. You are also welcome to call in. We want to do a lot of phone calls today. 636-9004-TMA. And, of course, email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after, at InsideSTL.com. Doug, it is a Monday, chock full of sports, at least for where we are in St. Louis in 2023, Sans NFL.
Right.
It's a Sadie Hawkins.
Oh.
What do you want? I mean, Jordan Montgomery's out there carving up the Astros.
Right.
Is he pricing himself out of coming to St. Louis? Is Aaron Nola pricing himself out of coming to St. Louis?
Probably, yes.
Missouri's number 20 in the country now, beating Kentucky in a Sunday charge for the ages. The St. Louis Blues have tightened up defensively, and they now have 3 points out of a possible 4, and you're starting to think about a Chalice and a Parade Down Market in June.
I'm thinking about that already. Do we have any games in hand?
6.
They got, 78 to play? Something like that.
6.
No, I guess Mizzou.
Fight Tiger!
I guess that would be.
Jackson, is that the right answer?
Absolutely.
Oh, there he is.
Sure it's not? How could it be anything else? How could it be like game 2?
How about the Blues?
Well, I mean, it's game 2. Like, just like ranking it. Like if the Blues played 3 games over the weekend, won all 3, then maybe. But it was 1 game.
Yeah.
That's not going to play. That's not going to play well.
It's a wonderful win.
It's the truth. Sometimes being slapped with the truth doesn't feel great.
You know,
going to gloss over Lexi Thompson missing the cut.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, I think
what about that?
Gloss right over that.
I actually was watching that. That's where things have gone for me now.
That's the only reason anybody's watching.
Doug, so there it is. I guess we have our lead. It was Lexi Thompson 72 hours ago.
Why would it surprise you that a woman couldn't make the cut in a PGA event?
Babes Arias.
Well, it was every headline I saw was historic. Historic what?
Breaking the glass ceiling.
Well, that's the 7th woman has
if they just let you in there, and you haven't really earned it, but they just let you in there, that shouldn't be historic. It was like the female kicker from Vanderbilt. She didn't get there because she was the best kicker. She got there because she was a female. That doesn't do anything good for anybody, does it? Does that give all the little girls? Does it give all the little girls in America hope that they too can be a NCAA men's college football kicker? No. I mean, if you earn your way to history, that's fantastic. But if you're given it to you, that doesn't mean much.
Is it true that she missed a 6-footer to make the cut?
No, she missed the cut by 3 shots.
Oh, okay. I read that she missed a 6-footer, having her miss the cut. I don't know why they coincided with that.
Doug, we've already spent 2 more minutes on Lexi Thompson.
Yeah, I was kidding. That was the topic
That is
we started.
It's a strong take.
I mean,
it's one of the best takes ever.
Thought could have happened.
I should have
The
texted
weird
inbox
thing
is
is that I actually did watch it. That's the most startling part about the whole thing. Montgomery would never come back here unless the money was too good, which would never happen here. That's from Bobo Brazil. He's not happy in the YouTube chat.
Okay. I thought he was long dead.
I agree with both of you, though. If he has a good, NLCS and gets to the World Series, has a good World Series, he's going to make a lot of money.
He's already there. He's already going to make a ton of money, no matter what happens the rest of the way.
Yeah, Michaelis makes $20 million. If I'm looking at that, I'm making 30.
Yeah, average starting pitchers nowadays are in that $18 to $20 million range, and he's well above average. I mean, he's probably one of the top 20 starting pitchers in baseball right now. Yeah, he might be a $30 million a year guy. That just seems crazy. But he might be.
So with him and Noah...
Here comes the low-hanging fruit.
Oh, yeah, we'll get a starting pitcher we've never heard of. But with Noah and Montgomery, that could be like 13 years and like $300 million worth of... That's a lot to think about.
It won't happen. It won't happen.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can watch on YouTube. You can chat with Bobo Brazil, Howard Thompson, and Bobo Brazil. That's who's in chat right now. YouTube.com/ I don't know. You got to see what's in the prompter. Oh, you know him?
No, it's Howard Morton. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, two different guys.
Thompson's another guy.
Just because your name is Howard doesn't mean you're the same as all other Howards.
I don't know a lot of Howards.
Jake Reynolds says, hi, Tim. Hi, Jake. How are you?
Okay.
Good? Good. 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 Very good.
Oh, all right.
Doug, the Fighting Tigers now ranked number 20 in a game that after the first quarter, for real. Were you watching this live?
I was, and I kind of stopped watching it live. I said, this is going to really going to be ugly. I wonder what the Blues are doing. And then I started watching the Blues and missed the fake punt that Coach Strode called.
Were you watching it live?
I was actually at a wedding reception at the Holiday Inn across from Six Flags.
Ooh, kind of brag.
I didn't want to brag,
welcome to Team Unrelatable.
Brought out my best suit for that one.
A wing dinger, as Dennis Hopper called it in Hoosiers. Dougie said, I'll wear a wing dinger.
Any of the out-of-town relatives stay at Jellystone?
What's funny was I didn't know anybody at the wedding.
What were you doing there?
Madison's friend, who she went to college with, I do believe, is the relationship with them. So I went there knowing I wouldn't know anybody. And what's funny, the dynamic of like parents and kids fighting downstairs while one of them is eating a big ice cream cone from Six Flags, while also 3 flights up of stairs there is a beautiful wedding reception going on. I thought that's so St. Louis.
You're lucky you didn't
But
see
I
the game.
did I've missed the fake punt.
Yeah, me too.
But I live stream a lot of the game.
Plowsy would have... I was thinking this when it was 14-0. I was looking on Twitter to see if Plowsy was going to tweet something.
I'm glad I didn't, because I kind of felt like maybe a comeback was going on, but I was balls deep.
There was zero reason whatsoever to think that there was a comeback coming. So you,
I
you
didn't.
wouldn't.
I didn't.
Well, I know you were watching. I know
yeah.
you were watching it. So I'm saying, if you would have been watching it, Doug, what do you do during Missouri games? You hang out in the Power Mizzou chat. That's what you do.
I don't. Not once have I ever gone on there, in fact.
Oh, really? Colonel's got his new column up. Colonel will join us, brought to you by James Carlton. 10 Thoughts for Monday Morning, presented by Will Garrett. That's the Colonel. Coming up at 9 o'clock, James Carlton presenting that. But for real, because I went into that game, and I don't know how you went into that game. I went into that game thinking I could see Kentucky winning by 21. I could see Missouri winning by 21. Unlike 2007 and 2013, I didn't feel like, and I asked Gabe about that on 101 on Friday, I didn't feel like we had a real gauge as to whether or not Missouri was really good or if their record was just a byproduct of playing 5 teams they should have beaten.
Yeah.
And the best win, K-State, didn't look as good after they lost at Oklahoma State. And Kentucky is good. And so after 14-0 in absolute dominating form, too. I mean, that was so dominating with the ease with which Ray Davis was running the football, the struggle with which Missouri was operating offensively. The also rare, I hate talking about effort. It's so overused at hockey. I have no idea where the hell people think they can gauge an individual or team's effort, but whatever. It's talked about all the time in hockey. I thought, man, they're just not into it. They're not into it. And then there was a little scrap in the end zone after a Kentucky touchdown on a late hit by Missouri on an opposing team scoring, which happened last week with Jaden Daniels. It just wasn't called, and it did injure Daniels. And I thought maybe that will spark them. But even then, it didn't really spark them. And I was thinking, not only, just for the purpose of full transparency, were they going to lose the game? I thought they were going to lose the game by about 35 to 40 points or more. And holy crap, a discussion that you just didn't even think was going to be in play could come back into play would be the stability of Eli Drinkwitz as the head coach at Missouri.
Yeah.
Then 3 quarters later, Eli Drinkwitz and Missouri has, from my standpoint, his best win.
Give him an extension.
His best win, and they dominate Kentucky for the final 3 quarters. Dominate them defensively, too. If you would have looked at that box score before the game and said, hey, Luther Burden's going to have what he had and Brady Cook's going to have what he had, you would have gone, oh, my God, how in the world could they possibly win that game? They did nothing, relatively speaking, outside of Luther Burden being the focal point of the Kentucky defense, but then Missouri's depth allowed them to move the football. But it was the defense that adjusted after looking like they were going to get run over, in particular by Ray Davis, the Kentucky running back, in the first quarter. What an absolute stunning and dominant turnaround.
They came back and outscored them 38-7.
38-7. And then the 7, by the way, was because of an interception, which I think was the right call. I do think that hit the ground, but it was overturned. Otherwise, I don't know if Kentucky scores again. Who could have seen that coming, especially from the Missouri defense?
This is a 10-win team, potentially. And if they get Ryan Wingo, I'm going to... I don't like Drink personality. I never will. But I think you got to extend him again.
Oh.
I honestly think because he's a guy that could jump ship. I mean, his stock has probably never been higher in his career, certainly right now.
True. Yeah.
And it's only a 2-year extension, right? He has next year and the year after, 2 years after this.
I'm not sure.
I think you gotta hand him more cash because what he's done in the recruiting section of not only the country but especially St. Louis, he's locking down guys you've watched for 3 or 4 years out here. So I don't like the personality, never will, but respect to his name now because. I mean, Georgia's the only real competition. Tennessee is in South Carolina. They can score a lot of points potentially, but they can't stop anybody.
Well, I will, just temper because, as the Colonel says, Doug, and you live by what the Colonel says.
I don't really.
It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is.
No.
I think South Carolina is going to be a challenge this week. It's a bad set of circumstances, similar to LSU, in that they lost a game they should have won in the final seconds. I think South Carolina's loss against Florida is the worst loss in the SEC so far this year. You have to be really paying attention to this crap to be aware of it. But I think they were down, Florida was down 10 points, I think, with less than 5 minutes left and came back and won in regulation. I mean, that was an absolute collapse. So you could have what happened with Miami this past Saturday night in North Carolina, and a team come out, but then just be exhausted and kind of get run. Or you could have a team motivated, and you don't know what you're going to get. In the case of LSU, they were slow to start, and then they turned it around, and then they put it on Missouri in the final few quarters offensively, and I guess they improved defensively. South Carolina is not playing for what LSU is. LSU could still win the SEC. South Carolina will not be winning the SEC, but South Carolina blew a game against Florida on Saturday. So what will their motivation factor be? If Missouri beats South Carolina, and they're about a 6-point favorite, it gives you, as a college football fan, and in particular, I suppose, as a Missouri fan, and Illinois, I think, kind of comes from the same DNA, the thing that you get maybe once a decade, maybe once every 5 to 6 years, and that is the rare experience of the best part of college football, which is hope. And you then have a bye week in between South Carolina and a trip to Georgia. And because that is a CBS doubleheader day, it is scheduled that way. One game will be on CBS at 2:30, and the other game will be on CBS at 6:45. And unless Missouri loses to South Carolina, Missouri-Georgia will likely decide the SEC East, albeit I still would say Missouri loses that game 90 to 95% of the time, but still there's 5 to 10% chance they win. And then you have Alabama playing LSU in Tuscaloosa, which likely decides the SEC West. So I would imagine that is the way CBS schedules it. I would tend to think Missouri-Georgia would be 2:30 St. Louis time, and Alabama-LSU would be 6:45. Point being, from a program-building standpoint, if you can be 7-1 going into Georgia and getting the 2:30 time slot against a team that likely will be on, whatever game of its winning streak it will be, unless they somehow slip up to Florida at the world's biggest cocktail party. And I said it, and I'm sorry I said it, because I know that's not good. That's the kind of thing that as a fan base you hope for, and as a national perception, which is such a big part of college football, you dream of. But that is what is on the table should they beat South Carolina this weekend after coming back with such resounding force in the second, third, and fourth quarters against Kentucky on Saturday night.
The win makes me even more frustrated with the LSU loss. I know I shouldn't think that way, but it does, to think they are so close to being unbeaten.
Yeah, but
it still kind of bugs me, because I think that game still came down to that bad center snap. I think if that snap doesn't happen, they go on and win that game.
But look at the progress from last year to this year. It's crazy. So I think a one-year jump like how you're having, you're going to have a loss like that. Now, LSU is no joke. I mean, they probably have one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah.
Great duo wide receivers. So, I mean, those losses are going to happen. You don't want a loss against, a Vandy or, come out and lose to South Carolina. I get it. It sounds like a little bit of a trap game, and Spencer Rattler good. I just don't know if anybody outside of Georgia is going to be able to contain the team. They got a good vibe, too. They're close-knit. Yeah. Feels like, they rally out.
I didn't think you watched the game.
I've watched a lot of games this year. I'm just saying in general. I just think with that sort of, a Missouri team 2 years ago, you're down 14-0 getting dominated. You're probably losing that game.
But this is why I think college football is so much about the process as far as is a team making progress or is a team regressing. And so if you were watching them last year, which is why I was in the surprising spot of being Eli Drinkwitz supporter versus where Missouri fans were early in his tenure, you could tell there was improvement. The problem is they lost games that they should have won. And you can make a case they won some games they could have lost. Arkansas, Vanderbilt being two, but the Auburn game was, as much of a win as you can possibly have with losing a football game. And they weren't getting blown off the field minus Tennessee. Plus you had all these returning starters coming back. But to win in the fashion that they won against Kentucky and dominating them 38-7, dominating them 38-7. That is the most not only impressive win, but most resounding win. And I think there's a difference because I think the K-State win may have been the most impressive to date if you look at, the way things played out. But that was so resounding what they did in the second, third, and fourth quarter. It was dominant, and it was dominant defensively. Imagine if they were able to do what they've done in the first few games, minus Middle Tennessee and South Dakota, but Memphis, Vanderbilt, LSU against Kentucky offensively. But you got to credit the team on the other side of the ball, and that's Kentucky's defense that plays a role in that. But either way, to do what they did defensively against that team and get pressure on the quarterback without the blitz, that was something that Gabe was wondering going in after the LSU game. Can they even do that without the blitz? They were getting into the backfield. It was so impressive. Kentucky just didn't have an answer, and then Kentucky gets all frustrated and has penalty after penalty after penalty, which had been a problem for Missouri. So I get exactly what you're saying. It was one of the first things I got from people who were, after that game, texting, man, that makes that LSU game suck even more. But the thing is, I would say they've played 3 coin flip games, and they're 2-1 in the coin flip games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and it's tough to win all of your coin flip games unless you are in another world talent-wise, like Georgia, for example. Most likely, maybe Michigan, maybe this year. I don't know if Washington is in that category. I don't think Florida State's in that category, albeit undefeated. By the way, just a brief aside.
What?
North Carolina's kind of a sneaker play for the national championship, or at least getting into the college football playoff for a team that nobody ever talks about. But if you look at their schedule and their current record, that's just if you want to just throw like $10 on something, that'd be worth your time.
North Carolina.
North Carolina, yes. But I digress, Doug. What were you about to say?
No, I was just talking about the frustration about the LSU loss. But things like that are going to happen. One play makes a difference in a lot of games. That fake punt against Kentucky made a huge difference.
It was it.
Turned it around completely.
It was absolutely it. It was, and the weird thing is Kentucky was sitting on it. But I think what Kentucky was sitting on is they were sitting on a 10-yard pass play and not a deep pass play from a gentleman who's a walk-on punter.
Mm-hmm. He threw a good pass.
And he threw a perfect pass.
Yeah. And the guy was covered, still came down with it.
Speedy Johnson, that's your guy, Speedy.
Speedy, yeah. It was a heck of a play.
Speedy Keese.
I had to see it on the replay because I'd given up on the time.
Well, the defender
then
thought
I
it was
switched back.
The defender thought it was a punt, and the receiver was just going to down it there.
You think?
As I said a couple weeks ago, they should have tried that, but
That play, that went 35 yards, right? Like that would
39, yeah.
39 yards. I mean, he caught it at around the 10 to 12.
I think it's clear they're listening to Coach Strode in
Absolutely.
Columbia.
Iggy, you want to do this bit?
well, I mean, Drinkwitz is listening to the show, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, a week later, he tries it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite as desperate a situation.
I disagree.
This one might have caught him by surprise.
We're down 14-0. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
but
with Iggy 100% on this. It's apples to apples.
A minute left in the game, and you had no other shot.
yeah, but if it doesn't work, they're down 14-0. They get the ball, they're probably going to score again. I give Drinkwitz credit. I mean, people think I want him to lose every week. I don't. Just because I pick him to lose doesn't mean I want him to lose.
Now, what about the soundbite that made its way around social media in which last year you said you hope that they lose?
Well, last year, yeah, because I was hoping Drinkwitz would get out of here.
Now that we committed here.
But I was wrong because
somebody's going to transcribe this exchange.
I was wrong because if you look at, before the second half and then the entire second half, I mean, they're obviously made a bunch of changes. And Drinkwitz isn't a defensive coordinator, but I saw him a couple times go over to the defensive lineman and talk to him, and he was over there with the defensive coach talking. So it wasn't like he was ignoring us. He was doing some coaching. And just the way they came out in the second half, it was like a different team was playing. Yeah. And that's coaching. That's not, the players said, we might as well play now. No, they made defensive changes, and it worked, so I give him credit for that.
Schrader had the one touchdown run there late in the game, but before that, he didn't have much running room.
Yeah, he didn't.
I've always thought you need at least one bigger back to get that when you're 3rd and 1, when you're down at the goal line. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to run the smallest guy on the field up the middle of the line. But they did that time and time again. Finally, he broke one there near the end. And he's usually a very good back for the rest of the game. I would just like to see some sort of short yardage running back with a little more bulk, a little more muscle there.
Your thoughts are welcome on the topic. 314-881-TMA5. And now you're a friend of the feather because you're texting in regularly and you're just part of the show. 314-881-TMA5, the EDF Group text inbox. You want to support the sponsors on this program? That's wonderful. EDF is the text inbox sponsor on TMA. 314-881-TMA5. Do you want to support the EDF Group as a sponsor of TMA? It's real simple. Do you have a fire extinguisher where you work? The answer is yes, you certainly do. So please email the EDF Group at fire@theedfgroup.com so a technician can come out and explain to your team how the EDF Group can save your company money. Again, that email address is fire@theedfgroup.com. The EDF Group is hot and will prevent your facility from having hot fires. Experience the EDF Group difference. Learn more at the edfgroup.com. Munganast, the sponsor of our 7 o'clock hour here on TMA. Doug, give me one thing you like about Munganast. I'm just looking for one, but if you want to give me 6, give me 6.
I'd say the treatment you get when you get service on your car.
Nice.
That's what I'd say, because that happens to everybody. No matter where you buy your car, you can take it to Munganast to get it worked on. You find the nicest people, most knowledgeable people, clean. I feel like you could eat dinner on the showroom in the floor back there where they fix your car. It is really a wonderful place. Great people. Good waiting room there with snacks, drinks, and everything. You'll be so happy. And then they wash your car usually when they're done with it.
Wash it.
Yeah. I've had a couple cars in there for service. Always very happy with the treatment that you get.
It's Munganast, sponsor of the 7 o'clock hour. Secret number. Straight to the muckety mucks.
Yes.
314-252-0029. That's 314-252-0029. That's right. Or just go online at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com. And here's the thing. Even if you didn't get your car from Munganast, get your car serviced at Munganast. St. Louis Acura and Alton Toyota, sponsor of the 7 o'clock hour here on TMA. Glenn Betts Jewelers, in business in St. Louis since 1941 and operated by the 3rd and 4th generation of the Betts family. The Glenn Betts difference is you are served personally, not sold. Glenn Betts Jewelers develops relationships through generations of your family as well. They get to know your likes, your lifestyle, and who and what you love. Those are the 3 L's. GlennBettsJewelers.com, GLENNBETZ Jewelers.com, located 1 mile east of 270 on Manchester and De Pere. In the jewelry business, there is good, there is better, and then there is Betts. The Betts family passion for serving their customers has been passed down from generation to generation. We get toward the holiday season, people start thinking about getting engaged. Support the sponsors. You will experience a difference at GlennBettsJewelers.com in De Pere, 1 mile east of 270 on Manchester. Coming up 2 weeks, is it 2 weeks from Saturday? 3 weeks from Saturday? It's the TMA Trivia Night, and that is taking place at St. Gabriel's, and you can get your table or just buy a couple of tickets, and you will be paired with others at November 11th at St. Gabriel's. This year, trivia questions will test your general sports, entertainment, and St. Louis knowledge. Doors open at 6:30, trivia at 7 p.m. Tickets are $45 per person. You can purchase single tickets, a table of 8, or anything in between. Tickets include food from Salt and Smoke and beer from Anheuser-Busch, but feel free to bring your own food and drinks as well. A portion of the proceeds from the night will go to St. Gabriel's. You can register your table or buy your tickets right now at TMASTL.com. That's TMASTL.com. It's also where you can register to be our Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month. TMASTL.com. Gabe with us at 9 o'clock, brought to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Jackson and I will talk it over with Jeremy Rutherford coming up at 10:45 on Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. And you are welcome to participate in any and all of the programs. 314-881-TMA5, 636-9004-TMA, or email the morning after at InsideSTL.com for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Doug, here is the fake punt that Iggy called and deserves all of the credit for, and I hope people are doing that right now via text. It took place in the second quarter, 4th and 10. Here it is.
Maybe could have thought about attempting a 56-yarder with a big lane ahead. Look at fake it, and the throw to the sideline is caught! Touchdown, Missouri, Marcus Johnson! And Missouri delivers a counter punch on the fake punt.
That kid, I just mentioned that on Friday. That kid just scores touchdowns. Every catch, I feel like I see him.
Yeah, I feel like he has about a 75% conversion rate on catches for touchdowns.
It's insane.
It's also Marquise.
Yeah.
Speedy to you, Doug.
Freshman. Nice little receiver.
It seemed like Stoops was like screaming at the top of his lungs, like, "Hey, why is the fastest guy receiver their gunner right now? Like, keep your eyes up."
But I read about that in the coverage, and he has been acting as gunner lately.
Okay, all right, but that might be a long con kind of thing. So that's not weird.
They analyzed Kentucky's special teams, and the observation, and I believe the special teams coach is Eric Link, Doug.
Yeah.
And the observation was that on the plus side of the field, if you're punting against Kentucky, they automatically go into safe mode, which means they're not going to return it. And so that play is there on the outside against Kentucky. And so they knew that if they had that opportunity, they were going to utilize it. And sure enough, they had the opportunity, and and it was the game-changing play. Here is Eli Drinkwitz on the fake punt.
Oh, I'd like to hear that. Hit the lever, please, Plows. Yeah.
Better mention me.
We just knew from scouting that there was an opportunity. They go safe defense once you cross the 50. So we knew anytime we crossed the 50, if they went safe, that we had that call on. And we had practiced it all week. And, down 14-0, what do you got to lose at that point? So we said, let's roll it. And Luke made an unbelievable throw. And Marquise made a great catch. And, Luke celebrated so much he wasn't out there as the holder for the extra point because he didn't understand that if you throw a touchdown, then you're actually supposed to go be the holder. So heads up by Sidney to get out there, Riley to get out there and hold for us. But we'll make him do his up-downs on Sunday.
Oh.
Is that push-ups?
Probably so.
Those burpees? You like burpees?
I don't like to do burpees, but I think they're good exercise. There's probably not a whole lot of punters that could have made that throw.
That throw was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, it led him back shoulder was kind of perfect.
And even look up, he just fired that thing as soon as it got in his hands. He was very confident that was going to be the play.
He must have played a little quarterback in high school or something.
He said he played baseball.
Yeah, he played baseball.
I bet he was shaking, though, when that play is called.
Everybody should know the Mizzou Punters family are members at Algonquin. So suck my licks, you loser. That's from Morrison Woods Wacko, Doug.
Is he really?
How about that?
Yeah.
I had a great time at Algonquin on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't rain a lick. I can't believe it said 80% chance of rain. Thought for sure we were going to get hammered with it.
That's outstanding. What a break.
I don't
What
know
kind of
why.
score did you put up?
I would say the Plowhawks shot 2 over.
No, not correct. But I did have a weird round. So I started off with a bogey. Hit almost
Number
every
one is a tough golf hole, Doug. I mean, if you push it right, you have foliage. The bunker is in play. But then if you go left, boy, that rough, you always describe it as penal.
I've never described it as that.
So I started off with a bogey and then kind of went downhill a little bit. But I did.
Well, 2 and 3 are challenging, and you are not greeted with a gentle caress of the hand of the golf course, are you, Doug? You are.
No.
You are
I've always
penalized
said
right out of the
that,
gate.
Sometimes I hit too good of shots that went over the green. But I finished with 4 pars and 4 eights.
Nice.
Oh.
Not kidding.
It's like a Mickelson card.
Not
Not a
kidding.
snowman.
4 pars and 4 eights, yeah.
What about Stephen Wildwood? He's trending.
I think we got probably similar scores. He kind of was going downhill a little bit, but during the round, he was killing it. Wacko and his boy Tom, Tom was a great addition as well. So it was just
Let's
a fun
talk about
day.
Tom's
the
game.
hell is Tom?
He was a 3 or a 4 handicap. I know on the front he shot 1 over, and I shot 1 over on hole 1. So it was a little bit, but he couldn't have been nicer. Could not have been a nicer guy. So I did not know the punter.
Stephen Wildwood says he shot 102, Plowhawk.
Okay. I feel like that's probably what I shot. I didn't. Wacko kept score. I just shouted my scores out to him. It was a fun day. Fun little day, Doug.
I like that fun little day. I like
you don't
that.
have to say little.
The punter is also a DeSmet grad. Licks, suck it. That's from Ken's wedding toast.
Okay.
I guess that 61-yarder was just because it was the last play of the game. But this is and that was a fake punt. This is like the 3rd or 4th time that he's not gone for like a 55, 56-yard field goal and punted.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it either. Although he did miss one badly.
And he missed one against LSU badly. And both have been debated as to whether or not they were blocked or not.
I don't think that one against Kentucky was blocked.
Well,
yeah, I think he just missed it.
But the coverage says that it was blocked.
I've never seen a ball do that after being kicked.
I'm telling
worst kick
you,
in the history of football if it wasn't touched.
It's like a knuckleball.
I think, and I hope I'm wrong, that, I mean, because you could make a case that certainly, I mean, if you're picking plays from the LSU game, the one where I go, oh, God, was the false start, snap count, 3rd and 1 debacle that led to 3rd and 6, and then unfortunately Brady Cook got hit from the blind side, and then that led to 4th and 32, whereas now I think everyone agrees that was a fake punt opportunity.
Yes.
But they used it in Kentucky instead. But I think you fake it there, and I think you fake it everywhere going forward. And I think it'll catch people off guard.
No more punts.
No more
Just
punts.
throw the
Line
bomb.
up in the formation.
Right.
It's like a draw play now out of the shotgun at this point. But Mevis missed a field goal. I think it was only a 44-yarder, and it was the same kind of thing that it didn't even get close to the uprights against LSU. And it was so low, but it was so weird that people go, was it blocked? Was it not blocked? Did he just knuckle it? I don't know. And then that was the same thing against Kentucky. So either the special teams coverage on the field goal unit, which has been a problem from the outset, continues to be an issue, or Mevis is just having a continuation of the mental issues that got him at times last year following the Auburn game, well, starting in the Auburn game, and then also, I know it's kind of been a race because of the 61-yarder against K-State, but he was having field goal issues that I think was the biggest concern after the first couple of weeks. So considering, even though I know probably most Missouri fans, and this is the way that it works, because that's why I keep going back to it's never as good as it seems and it's never as bad as it seems, are assuming that South Carolina is a walk in the park. I don't think that is the case. I hope it is, but I'm not sure that it is. And then Georgia, and then Tennessee, and then Florida, and Arkansas, even though it's a mess record-wise, played Alabama tight in Tuscaloosa this weekend. You're going to need Harrison Mevis. And if Harrison Mevis is mentally freed up when he's going, well, crap, nobody's expecting to make a 61-yarder. You know, it's like hitting a driver when you have no hazards or trees. You just free up. He has had some issues with field goals. I mean, even the one that he made against LSU looked like a mishit, if you remember. I mean, you got to go really into the memory bank on that. It was like a low cut that went back, and then it cut back into the uprights. Point being, from like 40 to 60, he's having issues. 60 and beyond, 1 for 1. But,
that's not a problem.
But that, you know, he missed another one in the third quarter against Kentucky, and that was kind of a momentum shift after Missouri had run momentum in the second quarter. My point being, I don't know if they have walks in the park left on the schedule. They certainly could have some. You're going to need Harrison Mevis, and there is a little something off there. I would have been surprised had he kicked the field goal at 14-0. Not because of Mevis per se, but because Missouri had shown no indication to stop Kentucky, and I don't think a field goal was going to be the thing that was going to be the salve to what was the
Don't say
wound.
salve.
I thought you'd like that. I actually chose salve thinking you would like it.
Well, they did waste 3 punts. Bauer did punt 3 times. If he throws fake punts on those 3, chalk up another 21 points.
Right. And then I think they're ranked 17th instead.
And is he a Heisman candidate?
He's got to be.
Well, I think then it becomes a conversation like the Eagles with the tush push, where they have to outlaw the fake punt for Missouri.
I could see that.
It's just
Brady Cook's going to have to
effective.
transfer because
Look,
the punter in
season.
there.
Right.
They'll just start first and 10 fake punt.
Yeah, I think they should. They should go back to. They should go back to college and pros. They should go back to that outlawing that you can push them from behind. God, I saw 4 or 5 games where they just line 3 people up behind the quarterback and just start pushing them for 15 yards.
You don't like that?
Yards.
No, it's dumb. It's just like you can't pick somebody up and carry him.
No.
I saw one quarterback, he did. He kind of got behind his butt and he kind of picked him up and started pushing him through the line.
Oh. Well, both teams can do it.
I know they can, but I think it's kind of takes away from the game.
I don't know what this is in reference to, Jackson. Why haven't we discussed Virgin's Twitter post? A mid-20s man alone at home recording himself alone watching a football game capped off with a celebration. No wonder your crank never gets wet. That's from the Wilson Woods Welcome.
Yeah.
So you're mistaken, and once again, you're popping off with having bad information.
I didn't see any Twitter posts from you.
I posted.
Is the show not entirely all retired from social media? I feel like we're kind of all just
much.
done.
Yeah.
So that tweet I sent was a GIF from when I was live streaming the Missouri basketball team.
Oh, so you did
tournament.
send out a tweet.
I sent out a GIF after the victory, or actually with like 4 minutes left in the game, because it seemed like everyone in Lexington was getting out of the elements.
Did you talk to Medina how to use that?
Monique Medina.
I'm already trying to find that drop.
I used my my own strength to do this, but yeah.
It says your account doesn't exist.
Oh, it exists, baby. And
you blocked me?
He blocked you.
That'd be funny.
That would be great.
God,
No, I have a GIF of me kind of KG Noten actually sent me the GIF of me kind of celebrating after a big bucket or something.
I see it.
And so I posted it, but that was not from the Kentucky game of Saturday. That was from
Here it is.
Is that a new report?
Utah State game.
We don't know.
In
Was that
March.
was that a highlight of last year's report, or is that a new report?
Is that a bit?
Was it a sketch?
Was what a bit.
what we just did.
Because I'm sure you, like Barstool does when they make bets and they go back and they pause it, then they go back and rewind and do a fake upset because they lost a bet.
It's not
charge. It's not real time.
Yeah, you were pumping your arms there.
Yeah, Doug.
I mean, it was a live stream, so it's kind of hard to do anything like that.
So this was not from Saturday night. I mean, you could see the sun shining bright like a diamond.
Right.
So that would tell you that it was not at nighttime.
I mean, yeah. I mean, anyone. I don't know. I thought it was pretty obvious that wasn't from Friday night, but I guess
Oh,
it
people
wasn't.
are stupid as hell, dude.
Well, I mean,
Well, if you post it right after a win, people are going to think you just did that.
Well, okay. I guess no. Okay, then I'll give the context now. Then no, that was not. I was with my friends at the bar watching on.
Great Sexual is this magical place to me that's between asexual and someone who's
That's what it says.
I mean, I'm using myself in my own GIF, so I guess that's kind of cringe, but whatever. I felt like it was funny.
Yeah, Eric in the Central West End's not a fan of the fact that you use yourself in your own GIF.
Yeah, well, surprise, surprise. He's upset.
Jackie posted a GIF of himself. Cool. Eric in the Central West End. I used it. Brian Henshin. Doug, how about those Colts?
Gosh. Where they went to Texas? Did they go? Where were they? I know it was a road game, and I was wondering if Hinchin went.
They lost.
Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somewhere in
Jacksonville's
Texas.
pretty good.
Jacksonville, Texas.
Jacksonville in Texas.
I thought they played in
Longhorns,
Texas.
Quinn Ewers, mullet. It's unbelievable.
The NFL, this is not as much fun to watch. Packers were off. I kind of had a lazy Sunday, so I thought it's hard to watch. I don't know.
We always seem to get the Bears games here,
Well,
too.
that Bears-Viking game, if you wanted to hate the NFL and not watch it again, you watch
Yeah.
that and you're good.
I don't
You're
think there's any team
cleansed.
worse to watch than the Chicago Bears.
I think both are bad to watch.
Barstool literally live streams the watch parties. Those reactions are 100% real. Iggy, wrong again. That's from Larry Thornton.
I don't believe they live stream every football game, and they just happen to show the ones where they lose a bet or Portnoy covers a bet in the last second score. So they're live streaming 3.5 hours of them watching a football game.
Oh, they do it all day. They do about
they usually
10
live stream.
hours of live stream.
They usually live stream the entire Sunday.
Now, the celebrations, I'm with you, are fake.
How could it be fake if they're live streaming?
You're saying that they're exaggerated. Is that what you're saying?
It's 100% ridiculous.
Because that helps build your hashtag brand, and then maybe you can live on 45,000 in New York City?
And if
they're so lucky
if you
they
set
make
up a
45,000.
If you set up a camera just to capture your reaction, you're not going to just sit there deadpan when your team scores a touchdown.
I guess the Franks things are always live too, where he starts chewing on a towel after they give up a home run. That's always
Frank Frangie?
Frank Frangie.
Well, I don't know what Frank's last name is.
Frangie. Did Kenny just say he watched a game where they pushed the quarterback for 15 yards? What game did that happen in? That's Nathan, east side of Alton.
Well, there were a couple of quarterbacks from the, first and goal, second and goal from the 3. They pushed him in. But there was a running back who was stopped, and then five linemen came from behind him and started pushing him for 15 yards.
Yeah, I guess you can do that now.
Warson Woods Wacko says, lies, lies, lies. He was alone.
Hey.
I was not. That's okay.
Where were you? What cocktail lounge? Did you already answer that?
So we went to a bar, and I'm not going to name the bar.
Cryptic. Why not?
Well,
Cryptic.
I'm not going to name the first bar we went to.
He doesn't want the ladies to know where he is.
Well, I'm not going to name it because they didn't have the SEC network.
He was at Filoni.
They didn't have the SEC
They didn't
network.
have the SEC network.
Oh,
So you were
Bill.
upset with
So me and like 40 people who were there to watch a Mizzou game all got up and left the bar.
Holy crap.
at
How much did
once.
that cost?
That's what I'm saying. Like for an extra $8 a month, or even probably less for the SEC network, they could have made a bunch more money. But I'm not going to name the place. And when we went to Barney's right there, Chippewa and Hampton, just because we knew they had the game and we needed to get somewhere quickly. So that's where we watched the game.
Yeah, when I think of a Saturday afternoon watching football, it's always Barney's I think of.
It was Saturday night. Listen, bro, I wanted to watch the game, and they had the game there, so they went what they want me to do.
Better watching at a Holiday Inn next to Six Flags. Catty corner to a gas station and a McDonald's.
Barney's put a salve on the wound that you got.
Salve!
I had
Not
to,
being able to watch it in the
was-
first tavern.
I mean, yeah, we were in the middle of the first quarter, and we were scrambling to find a place, and we knew they had the game.
Okay.
And what may not have been as glamorous as some other places, but hey, it worked.
Well, sure it did. I've never been to Barney's. It's
a fine spot.
Chippewa and Hampton, by the Super Target there.
Yeah, right across the street.
I'll back Iggy. The Army game had a play where they did push someone down the field for another 15 yards or so. It's from the 9-5-1. There you go, Iggy.
Well, it wasn't
Were you watching the Army game?
No, it wasn't the Army game.
Okay. I would have just taken it and gotten another W.
Put it to bed, yeah. But Keep it open. Keep the wound
Yeah, I
open.
don't know.
We
I was
don't have a
watching-
salve for it
I
yet.
was watching a bunch of football games Saturday, so I'm not sure which one it was. I forgot.
Beautiful.
Yeah, then it could have been Friday night, too.
And Notre Dame took the measure of your USC squad.
Oh, yeah? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it was. I felt bad, too, because Jen Whalen was there.
Who?
Jen Whalen, our former entertainment.
Okay.
She was there at the game?
Yeah, and she put on her Facebook page at Notre Dame Stadium watching Notre Dame, and I said, you get to see the best quarterback in football.
Sam Howell.
And she goes, which one is that?
Sam Hartman. Sam Howell's with the Commanders. Sam Hartman's with the...
Hartman. She goes, which one? Both quarterbacks are pretty good. I said,
Sick exchange.
I said, Caleb Williams, of course.
She got your ass.
Yeah, she sure
Grilled
did.
and killed both sides.
And then I responded about 2 quarters later, so I guess I jinxed him. God, he looked awful.
But you were still able to hit on this girl.
No, I believe Jen is married.
When did that ever matter?
That's true.
How's she look?
The girl has to be. Well, she's very attractive. I mean, the girl has to be interested for that to happen, but she's not. She wants to come in the studio, though.
There's not a lot of women that
We
can
let
say no to your
anyone-
charms.
Well, she wants to come in and say hi to everybody and reminisce about her days as the entertainment reporter.
Yeah.
Get Prod Joe in.
Yeah. I knew her when she was an intern at Channel 4.
Yeah, when I was at Channel 4, she was an intern as well. Yep. I like how Strode ridicules a place called Barney's, when in reality he watches his Mizzou games in a foreclosed-upon masturbation station in his skid-stained undies and a stack of Playboys nearby. That's from Little Tommy Tribbins. It's cold out there for him in the parking lot, but he's out there.
Gosh,
Well, I was kidding. I have nothing against Barney's. It's just the name of it, Barney's.
What's wrong with that? It's kind of a cute name.
I just look at like 5 stools at the bar, some lady in her 60s having a scotch and a cigarette, and Jackson sitting over in the corner with 40 guys watching a football game.
Are there a lot of bars where you can still smoke?
No.
I don't think there's any.
No.
There was no smoking going on there. I can tell you there was some Missouri Tiger football. That's all that really mattered in my
Fight,
estimation.
Tiger.
What's the
Beat
law?
Gamecock.
What's the law in Missouri? Is it illegal to smoke at most indoor places?
Oh, yeah.
Or is there no law? And
I
it's
think you have
just,
to be grandfathered in to be even allowed to do it.
5 years, people are going to be smoking in underground tunnels. It was like now they have the 15 feet away from
Catacombs.
businesses, but and like in a city, like an actual functioning downtown, like businesses are on the whole.
Whoa. What are you trying to say?
Trying to say there's a lot of open businesses and a lot of empty lots there downtown.
I think
No
it used
question
Room for
about that.
smoking.
But like if every business, like that entire block, everyone's a business, you can't smoke on that entire block because you're going to be 15 feet away outside of being in the middle of the street from a business. So
I
that's
think it
what
used
I'm
to be
saying.
how much food you sold. Say you're
think
a
Iggy
bowling
correct.
alley or a bar, but depending on how much food you actually sold, there was some law you could.
It had to be almost 50%. Like, Iggy is correct on that.
I think people would get very upset, come unglued if they were sitting down to dinner and someone lit up a cigarette in the restaurant.
100%.
Or a bar,
yeah.
even a bar now.
I just find it weird that like outside you have to have a minimal distance. It's like, okay, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We're
It's
outside.
like COVID mask regulations.
We have just smog just going up in the air. We're all good.
When I was
think
hitting the
that would
bars
be
in the 70s and 80s, you come home after a night, almost have to destroy your clothes.
Yep.
But bowling alleys used to be in Canton. Like
Yeah.
when we would go bowling as a kid, you could smoke in bowling alleys and bars.
Oh, yeah, it just reeked when you get home.
Imagine being the waitress of like a smoking section.
Oh, God, and the secondhand smoke you would inhale working there
Well, Gobble
6,
Bowl.
7 hours.
Emptying and cleaning the ashtrays.
Oh, God.
It was like 4 years ago, we had Gobble Bowl at St. Charles Lanes, and they had smoking, but they said since it's your event and it's your bowling alley for the afternoon, you can do what you want with smoking. And I knew there was only like 3 people that smoked. Me, Jay, and somebody else. I said, just have smoking in the bar only, no smoking in the bowling alley proper. So I made the announcement, no smoking in the bowling alley, you have to go into the bar and smoke. My God, I went into the bar one time during a break. I couldn't see. I guess there was more than 3 people smoking because that place was just, it looked like there was a cumuli nimbi had come through there. It's like, where is everybody? I mean, there was so much smoke in that bar.
It's disgusting once you're not used to it anymore.
I smoke and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I couldn't handle a room full of. My eyes get all irritated, man.
And workplaces used to be like that, and you could used to smoke on airplanes.
The airplane one blew my mind because like there is no going to get fresh air or leaving there and getting like opening up a window.
No,
you're just
stuck.
You're just trapped.
You're stuck. There's no salve for that.
Well, the way they had it was stupid. It was like the last 10 rows. So you're blowing your smoke up to the people that don't smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Which didn't make any sense.
No.
Get involved on the program, 314-881-TMA5. EDF Group text inbox, 636-9004-TMA. That's how you can call in, and you can email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Doug, when you stepped outside today, how do you do? Jeez. Jack Frost.
A little chilly.
Jack Frost is here.
It's depressing for me.
Seth Goldcamp says, don't be depressed. Get your furnace tuned up. Now, the good news is I got a high in the 70s on Wednesday. That's what I got.
Yeah, it's supposed to get to like 63 today.
I mean, the weather actually looks pretty damn good. I think this might be the coldest it's going to be, according to my iPhone. Iggy, I don't know. Maybe you got something different.
Yeah, it's going to be chilly in the mornings for the next week in the mid-40s. But all week is going to be mid-60s, almost 70.
There you go. So this is still the time to get your furnace tuned up with Design Air Heating and Cooling online at designairservice.com. You click on it, they'll come out, they'll take care of it. Now you know you are good to go for the cold weather months in St. Louis. Design Air is the official HVAC provider of TMAM, the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Email me for QFTA, erotic stories, questions, comments, hate mail, TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. Design Air Heating and Cooling. Doug's a client. I'm a client. Get your furnace tuned up now. Jackson, tell us about Circa.
Be more than happy to, Tim, because the Circa Sports app is now in Illinois. That's right, the world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is now in Illinois. So if you live here in St. Louis, you just make that short drive across the river. Or if you already live in Illinois, sign up for the Circa Sports app. The Circa Sports app is sports betting the way it should be. Big app bets, high betting limits, tight money line splits, and the best customer service. And, of course, the best news of all, the Circa Sports app is now in Illinois. So visit the circasports.com for more details and get ready to start betting like a pro. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
I went 2-3 this weekend on my Circa Millions, Doug. I don't think I'm going to win the million. So
well,
I guess we'll
it's not
keep
your
doing
fault.
the show. Thank you.
Some sort of problem with the system.
Thank you. Why do I keep taking the Patriots? What is that about? Well, I know I don't base this on football. I base it on where the money is.
Well, they're not very good.
The Patriots.
Not very good. And a boring team, too. Another boring team.
I don't even watch these things. What do I have? 49ers. That was very chalky. That was unlike me play. That didn't cover. Saints -2. That
McCaffrey got hurt.
Yeah, Tebow Samuel. And I got the Lions and the Giants. Those were my plays. 2-3, 13, 16, and 1. And I don't think I'm in the lead. But I'll check. I don't think I'm in the lead on the Circa Millions.
13, 16, and 1?
It'd be surprising if I'm winning.
I would have your dad look into that.
So my dad can look into that and get me the $1 million?
Probably.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm in on that.
I mean, he got you some parking lots.
Yeah, he bought Hubbard for me. That was huge. That was a nice acquisition.
I mean, for pennies on the dollar, too, which is insane.
Absolutely.
The man drives a tough bargain.
I mean, you just came in just to buy the parking lot and then...
Just one of the parking lots. That's all.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, we own radio stations all over the country.
And usually a parking lot's not that great of an investment when people don't even have to pay to park there.
I'll try.
Tim, we're working on $10 an hour parking.
Yeah.
I'll try. Go to Andrea's, too. I don't think that's for sale, but the barbecue sauce is, and that's good news. Andreas.com is where you can get it, plus the steak sauce. Still a couple of weeks of good barbecuing weather here, looking at this forecast. So that's good news. And if you want to go to the steakhouse, it's at Andrea's on Collinsville Road in O'Fallon, Illinois. Max and Rebecca will take wonderful care of you. What a great place to go and great sauces to offer so you can still experience Andrea's even when you're not at the steakhouse. It's Andrea's Steakhouse, that barbecue sauce we all love. Available at Andreas.com or at Schnucks or Deerberg's. It's Andrea's Sweet Mother of Mercy. Is it delicious? We are in the Michelob Ultra Studios, 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbohydrates. It's Michelob Ultra, sponsor of the TMA Studios. 314-881-TMA5 is how you can participate via text. 636-9004. TMA is how you can call in and, of course, email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. It's 7:59 in St. Louis. We will close out our Munganess St. Louis Acura Alton Toyota 8 o'clock hour, 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour if you're listening in New York, in Boston, in Miami, in Atlanta. It's 8 o'clock hour. But here in St. Louis, the best fans in baseball, it's a 7 o'clock hour, and it's brought to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura and Alton Toyota. 8 o'clock hour up next from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day, the Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
Rosalitas know that a fun happy hour and scenic patio go together like fresh guac and chips. So take advantage of their covered patio this fall and winter at their De Pere location and enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. Their sparkling margarita is made with Chambord raspberry liqueur and topped with a bottle of rosé Prosecco. They also have a variety of delicious margarita flavors, including mango, pomegranate, and blood orange, all made with top-shelf tequila and Cointreau. With phenomenal service, great margaritas, and a breathtaking atmosphere, there's always a reason to come to Rosalitas.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan. I'm with a great sponsor of TMA, and that's Longo Biggs of the Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. People are starting to head out now. It is summertime, but that means an increase in car accidents.
Hey, guys. Like Tim just said, summer is finally here, and that means there's more people on the roadways. And you might be going to a Cardinals game, or maybe you're headed home from taking your buddy's money on the golf course. But with increased traffic on the roads, it also means a higher likelihood for car accidents. If you get in an accident, contact our firm immediately. We've successfully handled a countless number of car, motorcycle, and truck accidents. And if you go to our website, you will see we have received awards for doing so. We will make the process easy for you while maximizing the compensation you receive. Go to our website or Google Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you're sick of having slow internet that doesn't reach every nook and cranny of your house, I'm here to introduce Whisper, the rural internet provider with no hidden fees, no contracts, and high speeds, all for a low cost. Whisper offers first-class customer service that'll help you set up and answer any questions along the way. And Whisper is offering free installation now till the end of October. Call Whisper at 800-765-7772 to learn more and use promo code TMA to get free installation. That's 800-765-7772 with promo code TMA.
Do you want to support the EDF Group as a sponsor of TMA? Well, it's real simple. Do you have a fire extinguisher where you work? The answer is yes, you certainly do. So please email the EDF Group at fire@theedfgroup.com so a technician can come out and explain to your team how the EDF Group can save your company money. Again, that email address is fire@theedfgroup.com. The EDF Group is hot and will prevent your facility from having hot fires. Experience the EDF Group difference. Learn more at theedfgroup.com.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
I'm Tim McKernan here with Action Jackson talking to you about Mark Hanna. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, whether it be saving up for their child's education or planning for their own retirement and everything in between.
Whether you're like me and just getting started with your financial planning or you're already retired, call Mark Hanna.
It all starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your needs and design the right strategy for you and your future.
Visit evergreenstl.com or give Mark a call at 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors and insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
TMA presents their second ever trivia night, November 11th at Tim's alma mater, St. Gabe's, starting at 7:30 p.m. A little different than last year. Not just TMA trivia, all trivia, sports, entertainment, STL-centric, and a few rounds of TMA trivia thrown in for good measure. And it's hosted by Tim, Doug, Iggy, Plowsy, Action Jackson, and whoever else is on the show. You can purchase single tickets, tables of 8, or anything in between. Tickets are on sale now and are $45 a person. A portion of the proceeds from the event will go to St. Gabe's. Tickets include food from Salt and Smoke and all your Anheuser-Busch beer. But feel free to bring your own food and drink too. Another TMA Trivia Night, November 11th. Get more info and find out how to buy tickets at TMASTL.com. KPNT HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. Now, back to the morning after.
I guess the only thing making Mom cry now is the Blues power play.
Hadn't been real productive, no.
0 for 8, eh?
Yeah.
But the defense has tightened up. Eh?
Is Bennington an MVP candidate?
Ooh.
Well, so far he would be.
I mean, he looks rock solid.
He does.
Best player on the team.
They've allowed 2 or fewer goals in their first 2 games, and back-to-back. They did that exactly 0 times last year.
How about that?
2 or fewer goals in back-to-back games.
A little more firepower offensively and, parade down market. Eh?
Yeah.
With no money, it's going to be hard to get those offensive production.
I don't know if they have enough offense to be a contender.
No way.
Tell that to the Coyotes on Thursday night.
Well, that team's like a AA affiliate, so might know.
They don't have a building to play in.
So what? Blues winning over the Kraken on Saturday night. Doug, I was in a spot. I don't know how many members of the dais outside of Jackson are gamblers. Jackson?
I gamble.
How'd you do this weekend?
Not great, gonna be honest. I live bet USC. They wouldn't give me the money line at halftime, but they gave me a 10.5-point spread, which was paying 2-1 to the money. And Caleb Williams decided we're not going to make Jackson any money this weekend.
Boy, this Caleb Williams.
And then
no St. Louis show covers Caleb Williams as well as TMA.
USC doesn't say Caleb Williams' name more on our radio than we do.
Yeah, so and then Sunday I just played like a dumb little parlay that almost hit. Had San Francisco scored 1 more touchdown, but what are you going to do?
Would you need an over?
I had them 2.5 team total touchdowns for the game, and they only scored 2.
Wow.
Yeah, brutal. I also that lined up with the under in the Houston-New Orleans game, and then Justin Tucker over 6 points kicking. Weird parlay, I know.
That covered.
That Tucker and the under covered, but the Niners.
Well, the 49ers not scoring more than 2.5 touchdowns.
That was the one I was least concerned about going into Sunday's games. Yep.
Is Justin Tucker the best NFL kicker ever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Of all time?
I think he's up there in the leading scorer category.
I dropped him from my fantasy team. No, he ain't good enough for me.
Why did you do that?
You dropped a kicker?
Yeah, I had to go pick up another kicker. He got me 20 points. What up, random guy from the Rams?
It seems like most positions have a guy where you say, yep, there's the greatest of all time. Maybe you can argue in a quarterback, maybe. But I don't know that anybody ever says that about kickers. And I guess he might be it.
They're all these, like I'm looking at the top 20 highest scoring players of all time. They're all kickers.
Yeah.
All kickers.
Will Reichert became the highest scoring Alabama player of all time. You think of Alabama's history and its current kicker, Will Reichert, who is the leading scorer.
Yeah. You can't judge it on scoring. I just mean, who do you think is the best?
Yeah.
In all of history, the guy you'd want out there for a 55-yarder at the last play of the game.
He set the NFL record last year with a game-winning kick, was like 66 against Detroit.
I wonder if as time goes by and evolution does its thing, in 15, 20 years from now, if they're kicking like 75-yard field goals, 70-yarders.
Maybe. It keeps moving back.
I think Tucker, no, it was Mevis who said he made one from 75 in practice.
Yeah, but practice is so much different.
What's going to be like when he hits a 75-yarder between the hedges on November 4th at about 6
pretty
p.m.?
Pretty cool.
Oh, it'd be great. Yeah, I guess with the retractable roofs now kind of being the standard, some of the elements might not be in play, which could both help and hurt, downwind.
We have a dome in downtown St. Louis.
Big time, yeah.
It's not used for a lot.
It's almost like a shelter. I wouldn't even call it like a dome.
Yeah.
Doug, so here's the situation I had. 5-game parlay. All the games were on Saturday night. Guess what was in the parlay. Go.
Oh, I got to guess all 5 games?
Jackson tends to know where I bet.
Mizzou and
he knows my
Kentucky.
NFL plays.
Mizzou, Kentucky.
Okay, what did I bet?
You bet on Mizzou.
I did, money line.
Did you do Alabama, Arkansas at all?
That was a day game.
Oh, okay.
Notre Dame, USC, because you're a huge Caleb Williams guy, and we cover him like no one else.
That's correct, except I took Notre Dame -3. I loved Notre Dame -3 this week.
Colorado, Stanford?
That was a Friday night affair.
Oh,
you took UNC.
But it went into Saturday.
I took North Carolina, nice Jackson. One more football game.
Can we have initials, please?
LSU.
Louisiana State University Tigers.
How'd you get that?
Hawk.
Almost went Louisiana Tech.
And so all of those are covering, and there's not really much of a sweat on any of them. But then I got the note. I got the note. I liked what I saw on Thursday in Dallas, and I thought, Seattle's on a 3-game road trip to start the season. They're 0-2. They just want to get back to the Pacific Northwest. It's a tough spot when you're playing Vancouver, Seattle. You're playing in those cities, and you're wrapping up a road trip. Tends to be. Check the numbers, whores!
Oh, don't call us that.
And so I thought I'll get the Blues, even though I realized scoring may be at a premium this year. The defense, Doug, it's a new system. They executed against a much better team on Thursday night. I'll get the note. Oh, God, it's 1-1. So now, in something I really didn't expect to have happen, even though Missouri's playing Kentucky, I'm locked in on Jamie Rivers and John Kelly on my, what do you call it, a laptop?
Yeah.
Because the great producer Joe told me that the game was on ESPN Plus again. I might be able to get rid of some of this, would you call it superfluous cable I have?
I wouldn't say that. No.
So I'm watching that on my laptop, and I'm going, I got a live bet to hedge, because I know all the other 4 games, my parlay are good, so I got to put a little taste on Seattle. But because we live in Missouri, which is a progressive state, we're the only state in the of all of our border states. Am I correct that doesn't have sports gambling? Is that correct?
I don't know.
I think Arkansas doesn't.
Yeah,
I think Arkansas.
Yeah, usually it's Arkansas and Missouri and New York and California.
Morale, like you talk about, like, you know, we have moral standards here.
Thank you,
in Missouri. We don't mess with.
We fear the good book.
We've heard the lawmakers say it's because of some of these bars, little things they have in bars that is not regulated.
Yes.
Sorry, Arkansas does have it.
Well, nonetheless, we'll focus on Mississippi next.
So the site you had, you bet the 5-game parlay didn't have live betting?
That is correct, Iggy.
Wow.
Oklahoma's the only one that doesn't.
Well, another wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm stuck here, and now I don't know what the hell to do, because now we're going into overtime, and sweet mother of mercy. Chris Kerber's doing a great thing. I think it's super smart. I would recommend people, if you're a Blues fan, subscribe to it. He does a podcast following games, just like a 15, 20-minute kind of a wrap-up, but with his perspective. Him and Joey Vitale, they had Steve Ott following the game on Saturday. And one of the things Kerber is observing is that they've changed the playoff tiebreaker, where it used to be overtime wins, and now overtime wins don't have the impact that they used to. So if a team knows that it's at a disadvantage in overtime, what you're seeing, and you're going, again, this is, I'm sure some people listening know what I'm talking about, because you saw Dallas do it, but you really saw Seattle do it. They just kind of skate around with the puck. And so for real, I don't know who was on the Blues' initial shift. I know Robert Thomas was. He was on the ice, I think, for 3 minutes to start overtime. Couldn't get off the ice. Falk was out there, and it might have been Kyrou. And Seattle just skates around with the puck, and they exit the zone, and then they kind of run like a weave, like you did in grade school basketball. And then they try to get in, and if they can't get any space, then they exit, and then they go back out. So overtime now, people are playing for shootouts if they don't feel like they have an advantage in the 3-on-3. Because what it used to be, if you remember when they went to this 3-on-3, which you recommended to Wayne Gretzky.
Right. Look how much fun it is.
It is fun, because teams would go on the attack, but if they missed the scoring opportunity when they were attacking the opposition, then what would happen? Then the other team would immediately go on a rush, and then it would probably end. You either had to score on your initial rush, if not, you were screwed. And so now hockey overtimes are turning into gridlock.
It wouldn't bother me if they just played 3-on-3 until someone scored. Don't do the shootout. Just play 3-on-3 until someone scores.
Shootouts should not exist. I
kind of agree with your take, Doug.
Yeah, I'm with
At least you're playing hockey.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your take, actually. Because what's happening now, again, I mean, this is just a sample size of 2 games, but Kerber and Vitale were talking about it on Kerber's podcast, and I'm anxious to talk about it with Rutherford. If this is now the strategy in overtimes, or maybe it's just because the Blues really lack firepower, minus a couple of guys. that teams are just kind of going, okay, if we can get it, we got to control the puck. And so the Blues just have guys out there who are dying, and then they finally get numbers, and Kairu's just like dead as he skates into the Seattle zone, and he tries to get the puck on net or pass the puck, and he just can't. I mean, he's been out there for 3 minutes.
They never
The Blues
touched
had
it.
the puck for 30 seconds of the 5.
Yeah.
That was the math.
Yeah.
And then it goes into, and Binnington again was sick, and then they go into the shootout, and fortunately they get it, and the fact that I couldn't live bet did not cost me what was a nice hit, because I just bet Blues money line. I bet Missouri money line. I gave up 3 North Carolina against Miami, gave up 3 Notre Dame against USC, and gave up, I think, 11.5 LSU against Auburn. Just kind of have a sense that LSU's going to go
So your
off.
overtime win counted?
Yes.
Okay, whereas mine didn't.
No.
Were we talking about the soccer bet from last year?
Yeah.
Still stung by that a little bit.
Doesn't it say in the bet?
It does. As a
small.
matter of fact, I was considering betting the Blues minus a half goal because it would have given me better odds, as in better return odds, but I saw that it would not count in overtime, and therefore I bet the Blues money line.
See, I don't read the small print.
Well, you should. If you're going to put your money up there.
It's too small.
Betting spreads in hockey is kind of silly anyways because you get an empty netter and it really kind of just ruins your bet.
Yeah.
Always take money line.
Well.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Ken. 2 entirely different sports.
Well, so what? It's still betting is betting.
2 entirely different sets of rules.
Does it count in
So Brian Hench and Doug
overline.
Jaguars.
Does it count in football? Overtimes?
Brian, does it count in football? You can call in 636-9004-TMA.
It should count. It should always count.
Yeah, it
Watching
does.
one team rag the puck around for 4 minutes is awful. That's from Strap On 18.
Hey, come on.
Yeah, they might have a situation with the overtimes in the NHL. But again, I recognize the Blues offensively may be on the lower tier of the NHL in 2023-2024. I really don't know how they're going to score many goals. This might be like watching the Ravens play in 2000.
It could be.
You know, Ed Reed is there between the pipes. You know, Ray Lewis just holding fort. Like, Bennington needs to play about 65 games this year, I feel like, in order to make the playoffs. And they're not going to do that.
They lost Tarasenko, O'Reilly, Barbashev. There was another forward, too.
Coles.
Yeah, Demetrius.
DP57.
cousin.
Yeah.
Rod Brindamore.
No, we're going back a little. Yeah, Brett Hull left, too. I'm just saying that just within a year, they lost 3 or 4 of their top offensive players and didn't really replace them at all.
And 2 of them, I think, got paid
Why
and
do you
one
hate
won a
Kevin
cup.
Hayes?
I don't hate Kevin Hayes. I'm saying he's no Vladimir
Jackson hates his
Tarasenko.
number.
I do. Ugh, 12.
What's wrong with 12?
Oatsy.
That just doesn't look good.
Tell Adam
Yeah,
Oates
it
that.
would have looked good, Kevin
Boy, when he
Hayes.
said that on 101, all hell broke loose
yeah.
because immediately Adam Oates.
Numbers in the 80s look good for forwards. Not.
You like Bedard at 98?
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh.
Big numbers. Don't 12.
Hockey players traditionally had very low numbers. They'd go from 1 to 31. You're going way back. And that was it. And now they're all over the map, but... Well, I don't understand why 12 would bug you.
It's aesthetically not a very pleasing number.
Why? But how about...
I can't explain it. My eyes just don't like it when I see it. I really, it's a purely personal take.
What number did you wear at Ladue?
Basketball?
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
The Jackson 5.
Oh, gosh.
Uh-oh.
Was that your reason?
Always a bit.
Always a sketch.
Yep.
Save that one for
Always a
101.
bit.
Number 5.
See, people like Namath. I didn't. The number just didn't do it for me.
So you don't like 12 either?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of 12.
I'll tell you what's
All right,
terrible.
we're in lockstep.
The number 8.
Yeah, also aesthetically unpleasing.
I don't like the number 8.
Unless
in
it's on
any
Kobe's
sort of-
jersey.
Tell that
Yeah. To who, Doug? Tell it to who?
Ovechkin, the Great 8.
Sam Bradford.
It is true. Ovechkin dominates. Still don't like the look.
That's what they call him, the Great 8.
Oh, yeah, he's...
Putty.
Yogi Berra, he did fine with 8.
No. The
Don't think
Yankees
of-
thing is weird, though. They got all their single digits are gone now.
They're going to have to release some of those numbers.
Oh, dude. They had nothing left.
I
You got
always
the
wanted
rookies
Judge was
wearing, like
99.
72s and God.
He likes Bedard. Move to Chicago. Go to Boys Town and get gaped, pal.
Oh.
That's from Steve, and he's in Wildwood.
Come on, Pale.
I don't really care about Bedard. I just think the number looks good. 98 looks good.
Guys, they lost Brad Boyes, too. That was crushing.
Yeah.
That's from Alan Dadeville, and he's willing to give Brock Bowers his ankle. Doug, what if Missouri gets Georgia without Brock Bowers?
Oh, yeah.
I don't
He
think
is
it
a
matters,
Heisman
right?
candidate as a tight end.
I don't think it matters.
It might. He's one of the best players in the country.
He's unbelievable. But that team is absolutely loaded. Their defense is so damn good.
Well, they didn't exactly have their way with Vanderbilt.
Missouri didn't have their way with South Dakota.
The thing that I wonder about Georgia, and I know this is one of Gabe's theories, he'll be with us at 9 o'clock, brought to you by James Carlton, is Georgia kind of picks and chooses when they play.
Yeah.
And Kentucky got their dander up a little bit because they're like, oh, Kentucky's undefeated and thinks they might be able to beat us. I guess we'll play this time. And then otherwise, they've just kind of taken halves off. They're kind of like load management, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Vanderbilt did jump out to a 7-0 lead on Georgia. I think Indiana jumped out to a 7-0 lead on Michigan. There was a time where the number 1 and number 2 teams were losing. And I feel like that happens a lot in college football, and then they just get the doors blown off of them, where either the little, 30-point underdog gets the points on the board and then just gets massacred the rest of the way. I don't know why that happens, but that's what.
The longer the game goes in any sport, the longer the game goes, the more likely the better talent.
But why is it that these weaker teams are able to put points on the board first, and then I don't have an answer to it. I know you don't either. It's just an odd thing. But then they don't score again the rest of the game. You know, it winds up being 51-7 or something like that.
Like Indiana and Michigan, that was hilarious. Indiana went up 7-0. And I think Michigan scored 7 touchdowns and 2 field goals, and Indiana didn't score a point.
Wow. It's an odd deal. I mean, as a Missouri fan, I've seen, like back in the Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas A&M murder scenes. You go, oh, Missouri's up on Nebraska, and then they'd lose 77-7 or something like that. It just would be grotesque, and that still goes on now. That was Michigan, Indiana, and Georgia and Vanderbilt.
Maybe when you're overmanned, you come out excited to play, super excited to play. You're all jacked up. And that adrenaline carries you for a little while.
Yeah.
And then the other team eventually just hammers away because they've got the superior personnel.
I have a feeling Georgia's going to choose to play against Missouri next.
Georgia has Florida the week before, and we are not actually allowed to call that game.
World's largest cocktail party.
Doug.
I just did. I attended it a few times.
I wasn't going to dump it, but actually they said if we even say it, we're done.
We're gone.
What word is it? Is it the cocktail word?
Party.
You can't say party?
But this Georgia team is not as good as the one Missouri took to the wire.
What percentage would you give the Fighting Tigers against the Georgia Bulldogs, who have won 700 straight games? 700. I think it's like 28 or something.
It's been since like 2021 since they last lost.
I give them 23%.
Holy crap!
What I think is a pretty good number.
That is super high.
Yeah. I don't think, Missouri's not ass. Like, they were.
Missouri's not ass. That's not a glowing indictment of our squad.
I'm just saying Missouri is a better team than they were when they played Georgia last time, and Georgia is a worse team. I'm not saying Georgia's.
Game was also in Columbia the last time.
It's very true. It's true. I don't know. If I see a slip up in Georgia, I think Missouri would be the one to capitalize. Just by how their offense works.
Clevie Wade says 33%.
I think 23 is about as high as I would ever go in this scenario.
I think Georgia came in.
KG Town says 47.3.
That's fanboy.
It's a coin
right
flip
there.
now. It's ace king against pocket queens. Run it. Let's run it
game.
twice. I'll run it twice. Fine.
2%.
He goes 2%.
It's probably realistic would be in the 2 to 5%.
My number is, it was last week 5%. I would put it at 7 to 8%.
Momentum.
My wife and I are talking about going to the game just on the off chance we are to witness history. Need to get past the Gamecocks first. I'm not doing that as like a way to communicate with people on a message board. I'm just saying, if they lose to South Carolina, it doesn't necessarily have the same pop. But yeah, Georgia.
Going to Athens?
Yeah, I know. Flying to Atlanta, hang out for a couple nights, and then shoot on over. Producer Joe's old haunt, Doug.
Yeah, he went to Georgia State.
He did. But he's a big Bulldog guy. Ooh, Zaxby's.
God. One time I've had that. One time I was able to have that. And it was so damn good.
It's like a Chick-fil-A.
Similar.
With soppins, though, with a lot of soppins.
Good soppins and wingy.
Ooh, Bill's wings.
That place is fire, man.
It's fast food chicken. It's okay, but it's not that much different than everywhere else.
If there was, instead of a Lee's chicken by my place,
I like Lee's.
I like Lee too, but I'm saying if there was a Zaxby's, that'd be dangerous.
Warson Woods Wacko gives Missouri 69% chance of winning
Come on,
against
guys.
Georgia.
Be real.
I'd say 10%. If he played 10 times, I think he'd get one win out of it.
Zach's wife Gummy says 0%.
Oh,
there's always.
Georgia came in here last year and sleptwalked through the game in Columbia. I'm sure they came in thinking this won't be a problem for us. Missouri, we had this as a W all year long. And then they got, a bit of a wake-up call. I don't think it'll happen again.
That end of schedule sucks, though, for Missouri. I guess they do have 2 home games there. But, man, that's a kind of a gauntlet. After South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, and then Arkansas to finish up.
I still say they can win every game and they can lose every game. I truly feel that way. Do I expect either one? Absolutely not. I would actually say the percentage of them winning the rest of their games is higher than the percentage of them losing the rest of the games. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if they win out, they're in the SEC championship game.
If Missouri wins the SEC, Missouri's playing in the college football playoff. And so Gabe yesterday, this was does everybody agree with that? I mean, I don't know how.
100%. You win the SEC.
Because that means you've won in Athens and then you've beaten either LSU or Alabama. I don't think there's another team that could be in the mix for the SEC West, right?
No.
Could Ole Miss? Ole Miss lost to Alabama, though.
Yeah, unless Bama loses to LSU.
Yeah, Ole Miss has a backdoor chance to make it.
Don't say backdoor.
I like it. I think it's the way to call it.
Ole Miss would have the tiebreaker against
LSU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
LSU's going to have to win in Tuscaloosa, which I think is possible.
It certainly is. Alabama's messed around. They've done a lot of messing around.
Do you like that? I mean, they messed around. Like with Sandy Pittman.
I guess.
Oh, is that from P's, T's, and A's?
Yeah, they're all John Candy.
Every week I see they're in trouble, and I think, oh, good, maybe Alabama will lose. And then, sure enough, they wind up winning.
Their defense always comes up in the fourth quarter just to be, they just turn into, because I watched a little bit of that game too, and it's like, what the hell am I watching?
They got a QB problem.
Yeah,
I think they straightened it out.
I think he's good
3
enough.
against Arkansas.
Pardon me?
They only beat Arkansas by 3.
The thing is, they have 2 5-star quarterbacks backing him up. If they don't, if you can't get 3 or 2 5-stars and 1 4-star, any production, that's not on them, on the quarterbacks. I mean,
word on the street is they're trying to get Caleb Williams to transfer to Alabama.
That would be hilarious. Mm-hmm. He just runs the gambit of Oklahoma.
He's making
USC.
$2.8 million a year.
I think he'd get
USC?
In NIL money. I think Sanders is making 4.2. He's the highest priced.
Well, you did see if Caleb Williams did decide to come back. Now, this is barring a national championship and a Heisman, I do believe, but still, $5 to $7 million in NIL.
So,
Really?
Doug, the Colonel sent this out, and you can ask him about it at 9 o'clock when he joins us. Last night is a perfect example. He sent this Sunday morning. Last night is a perfect example of why Mizzou fans should be ecstatic the playoff is going to 12 teams. As of today, it's almost impossible for the Tigers to make the CFP this year. If we were at 12, last night would have been an elimination game. I didn't really think much of the tweet. I suppose I have higher hopes for that, which Gabe would call almost impossible, but I certainly understand it. I mean, not only does Missouri have to win in Georgia, period, they also have to beat South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, and in Fayetteville. I mean, those are not gimmies.
Yeah, but that's fair. Usually if you're going to be in the Final Four, you've beaten the teams that are on your schedule. Maybe you have a loss, maybe 1, but you don't have 3 or 4.
Right. So that did not play well. Gabe didn't know what the hell hit him.
I couldn't believe what I saw.
So where was the tweet from? Who was it? It was a Missouri
Realist
player.
George.
What did he say?
He said, why don't you become Power Kansas or something?
Oh,
I'm paraphrasing
gosh.
if you're not rocking with this. I don't believe Realist George realized that it was not a fan account and that it's a journalism account.
Let's start calling him Power Jayhawk.
So, yeah, he says if you're not
Power Hawk.
riding with us, you're against us or something. I'm paraphrasing. But that was basically what it was.
If you aren't
My
riding
guess
with
as to
us,
what Gabe's internal and maybe external reaction was, he probably sighed, shook his head, and goes, well, how much more do I want to do this?
That's where I kind of was
opens
like, I
up
wonder
Fidelity.
if Gabe
All
is
right,
going to
what's in the
say
401k?
I wonder if Gabe's going to say anything to a Missouri D lineman.
He made essentially a statistical observation and then was considered to be a Kansas fan.
Yep. By Missouri D lineman.
By Missouri defensive lineman on Twitter, and then a bunch of people are like, "Get his ass!"
Yeah, I saw that. They're like laughing emoji, bury him. I was like, what?
Oh my god!
I was like, he just said it's almost impossible, but he didn't say it was impossible.
And it is, because you got to beat Georgia, the number one, which I gave 23% chance. But like, it's not like you got cupcakes, 3 left to go, and you're going to be
Tennessee and Florida and South Carolina and Arkansas.
all in a row. Like, that's insane. That's
We can
a
tweet
hard
that every
schedule.
week, then, can he?
What?
Yeah, you could.
Tonight's an elimination game. Well, every game's an elimination game if it's only 4. So you can tweet that every week.
Especially with one loss. Every next week's an elimination game for sure.
Mhm.
And the week after that. Yeah, if you have no losses, you beat LSU, you got a little comfort zone there for a stumble. Now you got to be perfect.
But it's an elimination game every week for most every team that's in the running, except for maybe Georgia right now.
I would say for Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Washington,
UNC. They could still.
UNC, Florida State, I guess, but there is a chance, Texas, there is a chance this year that you could have one of those big boys be left out. I don't think that's going to happen, and by that I mean an undefeated Power 5, the last year of Power 5, not get in.
Well,
and if that were the case, I feel like Florida State kind of gets crapped on, and I think that's a lot about the optics of their wins in Clemson and what was the other one? Boston College. But, I mean, they beat the hell out of LSU. And I think when it's all said and done, I think that's going to be a really impressive win. Keeping Jaden Daniels in check. So I don't think Florida State's necessarily the one on the outside looking in. I think Washington's the one that's going to fly under the radar for most people. They got a chance in the spotlight Saturday afternoon. But, those West Coast teams, if they're not USC, they fly, or Oregon, they fly under the radar. And Washington is legit.
And they shouldn't, because they had 3 in the top 10 prior to Saturday, and I think 6 in the top 25.
Right. I mean, if Washington goes undefeated, Washington's in, period. But that is not going to be easy. I mean, that is a gauntlet in the Pac-12.
I mean, the Big Ten.
North Carolina, on the other hand, is undefeated with the antithesis of a gauntlet. And that's why I say keep an eye on North Carolina. I think they might be good. They got that receiver through the NCAA after he was not allowed to play. I can't remember what his name is. You know his name, Jackson? Mac Brown was raging that they didn't let him play, and then now he's back.
For UNC?
For UNC. Either way, I mean, you just look at their schedule and you go, who the hell's going to beat North Carolina? I'm not saying North Carolina is one of the 4 best teams. I'm just saying they could wind up being the ACC champion, and they will have played damn near no one. Just like Iowa is likely going to be 11-1, and they score like a point a game. I think they're averaging a point a game.
Tez Walker.
Don't they play Florida State or not?
Florida State's not on the schedule. I don't believe, because I looked at the schedule and I was pretty certain that the only tough game left for North Carolina, Jackson, can you look this up?
Yeah.
Is Clemson.
Yes, I believe that is the case. I mean, they got like Campbell coming up.
Campbell's playing well, Doug.
Campbell.
Soup people?
Soupy Campbell.
Yeah, they got Virginia, who's double-A team.
They're a double-A team now.
Georgia
Do they
Tech,
play Kraft
double-A
as well?
team.
Georgia Tech can sneak up on you if you don't kneel.
Yeah, it's facts. Single-A team in Campbell, but then they have Duke, but that's in Chapel Hill.
Duke's legit.
Duke's legit, and then they got to go to Death Valley and play Clemson, and then finish out the year against NC State.
Yeah. I mean, normally you'd go, that Clemson game, that's the one that's going to get them, but I just don't know with Clemson.
I think Duke is the one that probably people in Chapel Hill are nervous about. But when you got a guy like Drake May under center,
yeah,
a lot more confident. He might be the
They're
best
just really
quarterback
good, but they're not a brand, and that's so much college football is about brands, even if the teams aren't that great, which is why I was saying that nationally the LSU win would give Missouri more equity, but Kentucky might be the tougher opponent. Now, having watched him play, I don't think that way. But I think, and this is the only thing with regards to the Georgia thing and Plowhawk. I don't know, if you're like 100% serious about the 23% thing.
I am.
You are? All right, God bless. I'd put it at a better than 40% chance Missouri gets run, by 17 points or more. But I think that the style of LSU was super difficult for Missouri, whereas I think the style of a team like Kentucky was more conducive to Missouri. They didn't have that running quarterback that can kill you, and Georgia doesn't either. And the Brock Bowers thing is something to keep an eye on. That's a real situation. That's why Alan Dadeville, our big Georgia fan, has been talking about, he wants to do an ankle transplant. They don't do those. But if he gave his ankle to Brock Bowers, what a story that would be. You guys ought to cover that on Sports Sunday.
We probably would, yeah.
And as important as his Georgia career is to him, I'm sure, you got to probably have a couple people in his ear going, you don't want to come back early. He's a top 5 pick, potentially. So, like, is he going to risk it when even a loss against Missouri could still get you in the college football playoff? I don't know. I think the Big Ten is the most wide open one because I have Penn State winning this
Penn State going to Columbus this Saturday.
Okay.
I got Penn State winning the Big Ten.
Wow.
Yeah, Michigan's good. I think Ohio State.
Really
Michigan's
good.
really. I think they've given up
Michigan's
48
sick.
points all year.
Those
Literally
three
48
teams
points
just-
all year.
Those three teams steamroll everybody else.
JJ
in the
McCarthy, good.
PJ Fleck said Michigan was the best team he ever coached against.
Yeah, I just think Penn State's just, I don't know, they're gritty. I think that's going to be a fun game, Michigan, Penn State, November 11th. I think that'll be great. So
Is that in Ann Arbor? It's got to be in
is.
Happy Valley.
It's in Happy Valley.
Yeah,
baby.
because
That's
there's no way they got
huge.
Penn State going to Columbus and Ann Arbor.
No.
So Penn State's in Columbus this weekend, and then they go to, they host Michigan.
That's insane. So I think
Jim
Big Ten
Dandy.
is open up for Snatch
Big
Grizzle.
Ten is as top heavy as the day is long. Would you not agree? Who's the 4th best team?
God.
The 11-1, soon to be 11-1 Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, it would have to be. They're in the top 25 too. Yeah, Iowa. God, and they had 37 yards of total offense.
It's like watching paint dry when you watch those teams play.
Big Ten is
Did you
tough
tune
to
into
watch.
Wisconsin? and
Iowa,
this week?
Wisconsin, they scored 10 points.
Maryland and Illinois. Illinois got
How
a
about
nice
that?
win. That was pretty big. They're a 4-1 team. Or
Tua's brother
Maryland.
looked like they had lost to Campbell when he was walking off the
You
field.
should absolutely
he was
look like
great.
that when you lose to that Illinois team. That's the
In
exact
Maryland.
look. In Maryland, yeah. They should have rolled that team by 25.
Michigan's schedule's been weak so far.
Oh,
3-1-4.
It has been, but when you give up, 3, 7, 6, 7, 7, 10, 7.
Yeah, they've
That's what they've
dominated
given
every
up.
game.
Every game. Like, that's insane. That's one of the
Can
best
we
defenses
talk
of all
about
time.
Colorado State beating Boise State for the first time ever? It was a phenomenal game. It's from Mud Puppy. Doug, you wanted to get to it?
We have the call. If you want to hear the call, I know.
Take a listen. Here you go.
Yeah,
Doug, you
grab
wanted to
it.
talk about
That was
it.
a funny call.
Well, you're about to hear it.
At the goal line. Should be the final play of the game. Shotgun snap. Fowler Nicolosi steps up, throws deep in the end zone. Here's the jump ball. Knocked down. No! It's gone! Holker! He was on the ground! Yes, sir! Dallin Holker! The shoestring catch! And we're tied at 30 apiece with no time on the clock!
I love, dude. That's actually that. If that's a kid or I don't know what that is.
That was the radio call.
It's Colorado State's
That's pretty good. I don't mind it.
communications department. It was his time to do it.
That's what I felt like it was. But if and he took the reins, that's not a terrible last-second call. You're probably not anticipating that catch.
I thought they were on the goal line, and then he said he threw it deep in the end zone.
It was a Hail Mary.
Okay.
Well, what would he say they're on the goal line?
Because there was like eight players in the end zone trying to catch the same ball.
I've been listening to some of the play-by-play calls on Sirius Radio of the baseball playoffs, where they give you the local hometown broadcast on some of these, and stunned by how monotone and unexcited some of these announcers are for big-time teams. They just act like nothing's going on big at all here.
Well, they're old.
Makes you appreciate. I'm not sure how old they are.
Like the young guys.
They don't sound like
exciting.
old. No, it just makes me appreciate what we have in St. Louis and the announcers we have here.
Oh, it's not about the age. I mean, the best one, like Harry Carey, you had Hawk. I mean, all those guys were. I mean, Euchre. Those guys were old doing that, though.
I don't mind you being a homer if you're doing your hometown team.
In the air, left field, and gone.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was like. That's
That
what it
guy
was
should be
like.
fired on the spot. I know it was an opposing team hit that. That guy should be gone.
I couldn't even tell which team they were broadcasting for, and then at the end they would say, "This is the Arizona Diamondbacks Radio Network." So, well, get excited! You're in the playoffs.
Doug, Kim Ng has declined her mutual option with the Marlins, and she's now a free agent.
Okay.
That's a wild story, too.
Think she's on her way to St. Louis?
Boston, baby.
You think it's Boston time?
Always. I don't think Yankees are going to do it. I think Boston will. And she brought in, I saw a tweet that the three highest WAR for players on the Marlins were players that she personally got via trade or free agency. I thought that was pretty cool.
Who were they?
Luis Arias or from the
Luis
Twins. And
Arias?
then,
400, chasing 400.
yeah, Lozano, I think one of their pitchers.
Traded
I forgot
Pablo
him.
Lopez for him, right?
Yeah. Kind of a good trade.
Luis Arias, yeah, he rakes.
He looks like Tony Gwynn, reincarnated.
He was hitting like 408 there.
I know. He's won the batting title 2 years in a row.
In the air, left field, and gone.
Yeah, that's what these guys sounded like.
Good morning. Baseball's boring, and it probably will cease to exist as a professional sport in 20 years. Thanks, Ken's Wedding Toast.
Doubtful.
I'm not kidding. It's kind of boring. Yeah, like the speeding up the pitch clock had changed everything. It still doesn't entice a very casual fan like myself, but that helped a ton.
Who won the Houston game last night?
Rangers.
Did they?
Behind Jordan Montgomery, 6 1/3 scoreless innings.
Deuces. Strides! Ghosting them like an OK Cupid Halloween party. John Stamos, full house, get him out of there, baby! Steven Strasburg, ask for his credit card info in a spam email message. Let's go fishing with a PH.
Yeah, I much prefer that in the deadpan broadcasting that I've been hearing.
I would take 30 of those guys every day of the week.
There's not an MLB team that would hire that.
An MLS team did.
Sneak a live cat through a TSA pre-check point.
The fact that he actually did the cat hissing shows how much he wants it.
He does want it. He wants it badly. What do I want, Doug? I'll tell you exactly what I want.
What?
I want C.D. Longo and Doug Biggs to represent me. That's what I want.
Sure,
C.D. Longo and Doug Biggs. Longo Biggs. They're TMA listeners. They are local. They're right here in the St. Louis area. They grew up here. They care about their reputation, and so they're going to handle your case. If you were injured in an accident, things can spiral out of control quickly. You might have medical bills piling up. You might not be able to work or provide for your family, and you're probably getting the runaround from the insurance company you've been talking to. Do not fight this fight alone. That's where Longo Biggs comes into play. That's C.D. Longo and Doug Biggs of the Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And they'll take all the complication and hassle out of your injury claims. C.D. Longo and Doug Biggs are trial lawyers, meaning they won't settle if there's an obstacle or complication in your case. Just go to longobiggs.com. It's Longo Biggs Injury Law. They accept personal injury, wrongful death, brain injury, and other catastrophic injury cases. Remember, the choice of an attorney is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements. And you also should take some time to think about it. Think about getting your work in with the weather being this nice at Family Golf and Learning Center. Family Golf, home of the hit and giggle from a couple weeks ago where Iggy did it yet again with a 238-yard drive. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, the short game area, Doug, the greatest. Now you've seen it. Now you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you're at a super fancy country club.
Oh, I love that place. Maybe I'll get out there today. I don't know. I love it. It's Family Golf and Learning Center. And when the weather does get cold, that doesn't mean you shut it down. That means you go inside and start dialing in your clubs. Maybe you're making a swing change. Now is the time to do it. Get your numbers on the simulator. I love the simulator and being able to get all of that information. It's Family Golf and Learning Center, familygolfonline.com. Family Golf. We make St. Louis better at golf. Send your emails in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today. It comes your way in about an hour. In about an hour and 20 minutes, Jackson and I are going to our asses ripped for an hour. I don't know what they won't be happy about. What do you think they won't be happy about, Jackson?
I didn't watch the Blues game on Saturday.
Oh. You didn't see any of it?
I mean, I would turn my head when, like, the Missouri game was in a brief respite to see what was going on.
You turned your head. That's the best you could do, Pale?
Yeah, because I had action on the USC Notre Dame game.
Oh, God.
I had to watch Caleb Williams keep throwing picks. And then I was trying to watch North Carolina and Miami as well.
Oh, you had action on that?
No, I just, I'm interested in because I can smell a Drake May, Caleb Williams debate come NFL draft season. And I kind of want to get my stance ready.
Don't forget about Bo Nix.
Yeah, and I think Drake May is probably your darling in that sense.
Yeah, they started to make a game of it. They cut it to 10 and then 99-yard kickoff return.
Oh, for Notre Dame USC?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal. Anytime that USC looked like they had life, Notre Dame quickly edged that out.
Here's a little something for degenerate gamblers to look into. When a school gets a chance against a blue blood on a Saturday night when all the attention is on them, and then how they come out the following week if they're able to get that win. Louisville beat what I still think is a really good Notre Dame team, but I realize they have 2 losses and are now, they're out of it. But and then what does Louisville do, Doug? Well, they take on the very dangerous Pitt Panthers.
No, gosh.
And they lose by 17. I recall Missouri, the game that many still cite as one of the best atmospheres at Faurot Field with college game day there in the morning. They beat Oklahoma. And what happens the next week? They get hammered by Nebraska and Lincoln. It's just, how often can you keep that high going before, as an 18 to 23-year-old, there's, you just psychologically, you miss a spot. And that's what I was wondering at the start of the Missouri game. I'm like, man, I guess they had all their eggs in the basket of the LSU game, and now they're having a letdown. And that's why what they did starting in the second quarter was so incredible, because it was an absolute, complete reversal of what it looked like. So I wonder about that psychologically. Like Washington this week gets Arizona State. There may be a letdown there. Arizona State is terrible, so I don't know about a loss. But when these schools that are usually not in the mix get a chance to play one of the blue bloods and everything is geared up toward it, what happens when they play a decent team the following week? And the letdown factor. The letdown factor is a real thing, is what my theory. That's my master's thesis.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll see how that plays out.
I guess we will. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of interest in seeing it playing out. Be real transparent with everybody.
Yeah. Well,
Doug, here is the radio call of, this is Deion Sanders following Friday night, losing a 29-0 lead, and then losing in double overtime to, is Stanford undefeated?
I don't believe so. No, I think they had one win.
Oh, worst team in football that I saw in the first half.
Here you go.
Hit the lever, Plowsy.
What I just said in the locker room to the team is they got to make up in their mind, are they in love with this game or are they in like with it? Because when you love something, you give to it unconditionally. You give everything you got. Without a shadow of a doubt, I am truly 100% in love with this thing. And I just want people to match me. Just match my passion, match my heart, match my love, match my consistency, just match my mannerisms, just match every darn thing I give to this game.
This isn't the problem, and I love Deion. I think this is the other side of the coin when it comes to, the publicity, good or bad, that they have, because players were Instagramming merchandise at halftime of the game, is what I was
Colorado players?
Colorado players were. So,
trying to sell products?
No, just trying to, I think getting paid for, to tweet out a product. Every athlete and every celebrity has deals like that. But, when you want to have fun, it's cool as hell. Like I said, I'm a Deion Colorado guy. But this isn't the other side of the coin, to where you go up 29-0, you don't care at all. You're at halftime chilling, and you just get housed in the second half.
Well, it's just coaching. That's why
I don't know.
I don't think he's a very good coach. I mean, I watched on the sideline. I mean, I love Deion, and I think he's great for football, what he's doing. I mean, there's millions of people watching his games where they won one game last year. But they've played three good teams, and they've lost 3 games. But his microphone is never by his mouth. It's always, he's got the gold headsets on, but the microphone's always up by his hat. So he's not talking to anybody. Now, I know you have a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, but you need to participate. I don't see him talking throughout the whole game. And when he said it in his press conference last night, or Friday night, I knew at halftime we were in trouble. What? You're up 29-0. When did you know you were in trouble?
Yeah. That's not a lot of trouble.
And there's another play. Somebody asked him about a play. He goes, what did the replay show? I want to see the replay. I know what happened. I just want to see the replay. What did they have? What do you care about the replay? He asked you a question, what you thought of it. You don't know what he's talking about. That's why you're asking to see the replay, because you don't know the play he's talking about. I mean, it's just...
It does seem to be all about him.
Yeah, it does.
We lost because they don't have the love of the game like I do.
I agree. He does like to circle in and blame a lot of players.
Stanford also played really well in the second half.
Yeah, the receiver had 260 yards receiving.
Going into half, the quarterback had 32 yards passing. Yeah. And he threw for 400. I mean, it's the worst team I've seen in college football all year. I think they had 6 yards rushing and 33 yards passing. And they score 47 points in the fourth quarter?
Travis Hunter was kind of getting cooked on defense. Obviously, he got mossed, but he was out of position a lot.
Like you like that he got mossed?
I don't even know what moss means.
He needs to
Jump over the guy and catch over their head. He literally caught on the back of his helmet.
Why would you say he got mossed?
Randy Moss.
Oh.
That is that's nomenclature, known nomenclature around football when someone gets
Doug doesn't
mossed.
know ball.
Yeah, that's more
Brian
nomenclature.
Henson not happy, and I'm sure it has something to do with the Colts. Are you watching him the entire game? How do you know it's just when the TV cameras show him? Also, his team could have had bad attitudes at halftime, hence the bad feeling. Finally, the replay thing isn't that strange. Coaches say that all the time, and it makes sense. Better to be sure than to be wrong. Brian Henson, Colts.
I don't know that he knows ball.
Well, I just go by what I see. They show him, well, if you watch the game, they show him every 2 seconds. It's basically the primetime show. But, I mean, they had one play where he threw a pick, and he's walking down the sidelines. That's when you put the things that, what covers are you looking at? What did you have him in there? What play did you call? You're talking.
Would you rather see repeated?
So I saw him on the sidelines at least 25 times during the game, and he never had the microphone in front of him.
The guy who was so bad at gambling on football that he had to take his ball and go home in the middle of the Pick Six podcast is now giving his takes on who's good and who's not. That's a Mr. Slade.
Gosh.
What does my gambling have to do with me making observations?
I don't know.
If that's the case, then I shouldn't talk at all because I'm a bad gambler. I won 50 cents on my DraftKings team this week.
Ooh, congratulations. Did you have Tommy Kim?
That'll shut up the haters.
No, I had JT Poston. And Adam Long, who had a good week. He was only owned by 1% of the people.
Look at that. Sharp play. Game theory
I'm surprised
season.
you're even here right now. You should have booked your trip to Cabo.
And then I won 50 cents on my NFL team yesterday.
Oh, Doug. Unrelatable. Everybody's unrelatable now.
The Cardinals scored 6 runs.
I play the dollar game
pop.
with a chance to win 1,000 if I get lucky. So I played $1 just to give me something to look at. And got won by half a point. Cash by half a point.
That's nice.
Ken criticizing a college football team when he doesn't even watch his local college football team is the epitome of grandstanding. Back to having self-sex, you rotting avocado. Doug, that's from the Warson Woods Wacko when he took the Plowhawk out.
Well, I watched every Mizzou game. So
you rotting avocado.
That's my local team. I haven't watched many other local teams play.
You don't watch Truman State, do you?
No, I don't.
Ass.
Well, I don't.
You're a horse's ass for not watching.
Well, if I knew Schrader played there, I might have.
I know. You're going to make guys like that playing.
No, so
Did they play Saturday?
why can't I make observations of teams that I've seen play?
Well, you
Warson
can't.
Woods Wacko, why can't he make observations? Yeah,
I was going to ask, would you rather see repeated cutaways of Deion Sanders or Taylor Swift?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Dion all day long.
And again, I have no problem with it. I mean, what the hell? What does it care? You show her up there. She obviously knows nothing about football.
How do you know that?
He had a 3-yard pass, and she's up there banging on the glass.
I mean, I'm with Iggy on that. Like, they would do like a 10-yard slant pattern at like their own 20-yard line, and it would be like they almost won the Super Bowl.
She probably feels like she has to act like that, knowing that she's constantly on camera.
It feels like it's a staged relationship. So yeah, I'm sure she had to.
Yeah, she's been doing that a long time. Even at the Grammys, where she's out there fake dancing with her friends.
Okay, don't do that again.
Cameras on me. Let's dance, CZ.
Never heard anyone.
Pessimism is a bitter deal. Maybe they're just happy people in their lives.
Could be.
I'm not
like Jackson was at Barney's.
Yeah. Let people live.
I said I have no problem with it. I mean, she's not hurting anybody. For these people that quit showing her, it's a football game. What do you care? They're going to show her. They're going to show somebody else in the stands. They're going to show the guys walking back to the huddle. What do you care what they're showing?
Fans in the stands?
Clapping their hands.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't bother me.
It's an entertainment product, and if they think that makes it more entertaining, that's what they're going to do.
Just like I have no problem with Lexi Thompson playing in the event.
Back to her. Back to our lead story.
Well, people are making a huge deal. Let her play.
Why did they let her in?
She's got a sponsor exemption because nobody's going to watch that
back
tournament.
on Lexi Thompson, our lead story.
Nobody's going to watch that tournament unless she's in there. I mean,
I don't think anybody watched it anyways.
the only people watching were watching her. The only galleries that were out there were following her.
Waiting for her to F up. I would assume most of them who they were watching
a lot of people
online were waiting for that.
there are a lot of young kids out there, a lot of girls out there watching, so she did something.
And she got that exemption because she's attractive?
She's a female, and the sponsors knew that they'd watch, and nobody's going to watch that tournament unless she's...
But they would watch because she's attractive.
Well, I don't know. Attractiveness is...
Because she's not the best player on the LPGA Tour.
No, she's one of the most popular.
Most marketable,
most
Doug.
well-known.
had an opportunity to go into the NFL then, didn't. That was the only chance I had to go in and didn't go. And when I take a pay cut to go, which was hard to do at that time.
I like the tone he took during the pay cut portion of that. Hired him voice up. And he'll probably look like he probably slapped him in the face.
It could be true if he was as big as what he was.
I absolutely believe it was true.
Yeah.
As dumb as it is, I guess he was probably going to be like an analyst for the Giants or Jets, like a stat guy.
Probably.
And maybe make, I don't know what that would pay, a few $100,000.
Yeah.
And he's up there making $5 million a year.
But it also makes
But it sounds, if you're telling that story, you have to go, hey, I realize this sounds ridiculous.
Sounds like they wanted to run the franchise.
And it's so casual as if, like, he's going to be the starting tight end of the Giants. Not have to take a pay cut.
I thought it sounded like he was going to be the GM or maybe one of the coaches.
I
or
think
something.
director of communications, probably.
I doubt that.
That's
a lot of work.
Would have been a pay cut. But again,
Almost anything would be a pay cut unless you're a player.
Yeah, if you're making that kind of money, what he was making. But the Lexi Thompson thing I had no problem with. I just don't agree. Every tweet I saw, every article I saw, historic. There's nothing historic about it.
Lexi
Thompson. No, it isn't. It's not
She's
historic
the eighth
when
person.
they just
She's the eighth
somebody a
female to
spot.
play. And even if she made the cut, it wouldn't have been historic because I think Babe Dietrichson Saharius made a cut back in the 40s when she played. So she wouldn't have been the first one to make a cut in a PGA Tour. So that wouldn't have been history. There was no history at all in this thing.
It only counts what the producers can remember. In their lifetime, it only counts.
I don't watch any of it, but
Well, why didn't you watch it?
I wasn't interested.
Well, why do you keep bringing her name up then?
Because that's all I saw over the weekend was Lexi Thompson, history, close to history. Oh, she almost made the cut. No, she didn't. She missed by 3 shots.
No. When she plays in a qualifier and wins that, and then plays in a tournament and wins in the scores in the top 10, top 20, that's history.
Yeah.
But to just buy your way in, that's not history that matters.
It's our tournament.
Well, I understand that, but it doesn't make it particularly meaningful.
It was either that or they're going to give it to some college kid from Vegas who had no shot either, so what does it matter? They didn't take a spot away from anybody unless they were going to give it to somebody who's on the bubble for the 125, which they weren't. They were
someone who's worked their whole life to try to get
but
there.
they're all in the field anyway. Normally those sponsor exemptions are given to college kids in that area who are known in Vegas or wherever the tournament's from who has no shot at making a cut anyway.
Not one single person who listens to this show, watches, or cares anything about the LPGA.
Well, it was a
There's his
PGA.
brother Masters losing his mind.
Well, it was a PGA Tour event, so we weren't talking about the LPGA, and I guarantee you there's one person out there that cares what we talked about. There's a female out there saying good for her or glad you talked about it.
Shut up! Get off your couch and quit harassing women at Notre Dame games. Maximum security at Delmar Gardens with a ball gag, please. That's from the Shrewsbury Seats Dipper. Are you harassing women in South Bend?
Harassing. She posted on her Facebook
Jen
page.
Whalen, you said.
I responded. And she's DM'd me like 8 times in the last 3 weeks.
Gosh, she will not leave you alone.
No, there were legitimate questions about, our IT stuff, what we do. I guess she was trying to find out if she could help in any way, but...
So the first person you go to is Ken Stroh.
Yeah, go to me first when it comes to IT.
You think maybe she has other alternative motives?
No, not at all. God forbid. And then I don't know why
you're pretty slick.
No, I don't know why I'm shocked by this. But Learn posted a bunch of old pictures of herself. From high school, college, some other stuff. Well, I'm friends with her, and it pops up. And she did something on Instagram with like 12 different pictures of the different eras. And there was one I just commented adorbs.
Oh gosh!
You have to know you're going to get killed for that.
Totes of adorbs.
Totes adorbs. I left the totes off. Just adorbs. But I mean, why would people be upset or care if I respond to one of her posts? I mean, isn't that what you do when you see a post you like? You comment on it. She had like 38 comments. I think 8 of them were about me. Knew this was coming. I just scrolled down to find Stroh's response. What a shock, Strode responded.
She can't stop thinking about you.
I had to go down one to see Strode. I mean, why do you care what I do? I mean, isn't that the whole point? When a friend posts something and you like it or you comment on it, that's what they post it for, hoping people will like their post or maybe comment on it?
Probably so, yeah.
Why is it people care what I do?
Could be the creep factor.
There were more comments about me than about her.
Yeah.
Kind of
That's a win for you.
No, it's not a win for me. It's embarrassing.
Can someone hit him with a tranq dart? Stop.
May I join you?
Looks like those were AI-generated images, not actually weren't in high school.
I don't know. She said, "Here's various pictures of me."
How can you tell? How can you
says
even
AI
tell
learn.
anymore?
AI learn in high
I don't even know
school.
what AI is.
Artificial intelligence.
Clip that off.
You've never heard of AI?
I do, but I don't know what it is. I always said AI was you fake somebody's voice.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah, but it's much bigger than that.
How is I delete these spams and they still leave messages?
We really have to find some weekend friends for this guy. It's as sad as it is awful to listen to each Monday. Make it stop!
Oh,
it's from Arbor Day, and he's had enough.
What is sad about it? I've talked about Mizzou. I've talked about Lexi Thompson playing on the PGA Tour.
You talked about harassing a young gal at the
Talked
Notre Dame
NFL.
game?
No, somebody brought that up. I didn't.
Somebody brought up?
Somebody said Iggy's harassing people at Notre Dame. I didn't bring it up. Somebody texted it in.
Well, no, didn't you say you texted somebody who was at the Notre Dame game?
No, I responded to her post that she was at the game, and I said, you get to see the best quarterback in college football.
Okay.
Again, just a comment on a Facebook page.
That's
God
fair.
forbid I comment on something.
No, that's fair.
Hitting on that hot girl. No, I was commenting.
Well,
you get the next hour off with me. You got
James Carl.
Can we stop? I was actually wondering if the mic stopped.
Mitch McConnell moment.
Subscribing to what we do. So, I mean, if you want to go on there and, talk about Giambi or anybody else,
No, they know it's coming.
Mike at Long Beach, what's up, Mike?
They know it's coming up next hour. They don't get me. You got Mizzou talk next hour.
Yeah.
James is coming in. He sits in my seat. I go out there.
What do you do when you're out there?
I don't know. A little golf rifle.
Wow.
This guy was literally asleep 35 minutes ago while Tim was talking. Would anyone say anything if Plowsy just potted him down and we all feel like we could hear him?
Hello, la, la, la.
All right, so we got a bunch of idiots today to start us off. Pete, what's up, Pete? Let's try you. See if you're going to make it any better.
Look, I don't sit there and make fun of you guys. You sit there and take screenshots of the YouTube channel and post them on the text inbox. I can see one from here.
Herb's hog.
So what? I'm looking at the camera, which I'm looking at the screen, which happens to be the
I think
camera.
the theory was that you were asleep.
I wasn't asleep.
You sound like a fan.
You've never fallen asleep on the radio, have you?
I think every one of, I know Doug, I think we all eventually have. I think I definitely have.
You've fallen asleep on live radio?
Mm-hmm. Just for like minute and a half. One of those.
I don't think I have.
KG No-Town writes, wow.
Nice comment.
Okay.
That'll help grow the conversation.
Your left eye was 1,000% closed. That's from Herb's hog.
Now, what about the right eye? You ever sleep with one eye closed and one eye open?
I never do.
I can't do that.
I tend to shut them both.
You choose to leave the studio when someone comes in. That's from Zach's wife, Gummy.
Sure I do.
Because there is another chair over there in the corner.
Yeah, you were in when we had
There's
the
even a microphone.
Erica and Drew swings.
That's right.
Well, I was going to step out for that one, too. But
No, you couldn't have missed that one.
I let our guests take over, let them have my chair, and you don't need me in here. Talk Mizzou. He's in there talking Mizzou. I just think the gray and the pink would pop.
We certainly needed you to talk swinging.
Have you seen any of Erica and Drew's work?
Yeah.
Oh. How was it?
Really don't want to comment.
Wow, Doug.
What in the world does that mean?
A rare no comment.
I will have to ask, how long after you left here that day did you pop up their material? And I don't think it matters. I just didn't know if you went home immediately or did you have like
Actually,
lunch?
I saw some the day before just to get ready for her appearance.
Oh, show prep.
No, she's very attractive.
How awesome would it be to be playing and hear what people watch out there?
Awesome.
I still think she's. I just don't.
No,
she sounds so young.
She's like 30-something. Maybe later. Maybe.
Have you contacted them about appearing in one of their videos? You expect to?
No, I said it on the air, and they can get a hold of me if they want to do that.
Yeah.
No,
You should probably
participating.
go see your
no.
agent.
participating. No, I said I would just sit there with clothes on and be berated if you like.
May I join you?
But you would join them if they asked you, wouldn't you?
As a non-participant, yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't want to have sex with them.
You don't have sex with her?
No, not with him too. He's
Not
not.
a
He's
sex
not the
with
kind.
either
You have to do both.
He's not the kind that's going to sit there and watch.
Well, how do you know he won't become the cuckold?
No, he participates. No, if you want me to watch and just have a little fun with it,
I think they want you to participate.
be a little cameo for me in the corner, get you some viewers.
Cameo.
You think that would draw the viewers in? A shot of you sitting in a chair.
I'm sure a lot of people pay the $10-20 a month just to see me sitting in a corner with my clothes on,
Would you cross your legs?
sucking my thumb, getting berated.
Guest appearances all across the OnlyFans local region.
By the way, there were 74 comments on the Learn post. 2 of them were about Iggy. So that was another lie. Tries to make everything about himself. That's from the Reluctant Cuck.
Yeah, I try to make it about myself.
Well, now I got to.
There were more than 2.
I got to go open up Learn's Facebook.
Yeah, that's you go back and search. And, all right, I better count them. How many is Iggy? I'm going to go through 74 to see how many Iggy did. What kind of a life is that?
Yeah, that's not much of a
Reluctant Cuck, you want to call in? I know Gabe is going to call in. He's presented by James Carlton. It's coming your way next. Along with the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, Jackson and I head down the hallway. We're going to deal with it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Won't be easy.
Will not be easy. You're right about that. But Jeremy Rutherford will be with us at 10:45 to help us get through it, plus the Little Piddles Weekend Wrap-Up presented by Angry Beaver. There is your captain's log for the next 2 hours. Here with TMA and Balloon Party from that Global Ultra Studio.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like the steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with a great TMA sponsor, and that is Longo Biggs Injury Law Firm. And you may hear a bunch of out-of-state law firms advertising here and there all over on billboards and so on and so forth. But the thing is, oftentimes their goal is to just settle and move on, and that's not what you guys do.
Yeah, this is CD Longo, and you hear us talking a lot about maximizing the value of cases, but what does that actually mean? Well, as Tim said, there's lots of personal injury lawyers in St. Louis, and everyone handles cases differently. We focus on getting the highest dollar amount for your injuries, not just getting a resolution quickly. We're constantly tracking all the settlements and verdicts in the area. This helps us advise our clients on whether a settlement offer is too low. And if the amount of compensation being offered is too low, we are happy to file lawsuits and proceed to trial to ensure our clients receive an amount that is fair. Visit our website or Google us at Longo Biggs Injury Law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
TMA presents their second ever trivia night, November 11th at Tim's alma mater, St. Gabe's, starting at 7:30 p.m. A little different than last year. Not just TMA trivia, all trivia, sports, entertainment, STL-centric, and a few rounds of TMA trivia thrown in for good measure. And it's hosted by Tim, Doug, Iggy, Plowsy, Action Jackson, and whoever else is on the show. You can purchase single tickets, tables of 8, or anything in between. Tickets are on sale now and are $45 a person. A portion of the proceeds from the event will go to St. Gabe's. Tickets include food from Salt and Smoke and all your Anheuser-Busch beer. But feel free to bring your own food and drink too. Another TMA Trivia Night, November 11th. Get more info and find out how to buy tickets at tmastl.com.
Okay. Hot takes.
Yeah.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
And now the Pepperoncini Show with Darren Atkins and Ken Stroh. All right, take it, fellas.
There it is. That's the open.
Pepperoncini.
Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini. Pepperoncini.
We don't know what it is. We don't understand the name. We Just Know It's Stupid. And it's available every weekday, featuring Iggy and the Plowboy. Apparently it's some kind of a podcast or something. Available at tmastl.com and on the TMASTL mobile app. Whatever.
Here's Action Jackson with 3 more ways to get TMA content.
Check out listener rewards on the new TMA mobile app. Watch the show live on the TMA studio cams. Find it at tmastl.com. Get the podcast on the TMA app. Download it now.
Thanks, Jackson. It's the morning after on 105.7 FM HD2.
Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circus Sports is now available in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I've been a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited that the Circus Sports app is now ready for action. Experience big app bets with high betting limits, tight money line splits, and more. Now you can download, fund, and bet like a pro from anywhere in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
The Illinois Recovery Center is dedicated to providing precise and authentic care to those seeking help and treatment. Whether you've made the life-saving choice to seek help on your own or you want to be prepared for the other end of an addiction intervention with a loved one, the chance to learn about addiction recovery is available to you at the Illinois Recovery Center in Swansea. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or email info@illinoisrecoverycenter.com.
If you're sick of having slow internet that doesn't reach every nook and cranny of your house, I'm here to introduce Whisper, the rural internet provider with no hidden fees, no contracts, and high speeds, all for a low cost. Whisper offers first-class customer service that'll help you set up and answer any questions along the way. And Whisper is offering free installation now till the end of October. Call Whisper at 800-765-7772 to learn more and use promo code TMA to get free installation. That's 800-765-7772 with promo code TMA.
Live from the Michelob Ultra Studios, KPNT-FM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
105.7 HD2. It's the morning after.
Well, Doug, they'll be playing this at 2:30 when the Tigers enter Faurot Field. Take on the Gamecocks. South Carolina, an improved 7-1 to cover the season win total of 6.5.
Do they have a jazzier version of this song, a heavy metal version?
I need to know the background of Optimus Prime, like, pops into this video every now and then.
It does. Right there.
I just wonder if AI couldn't jazz this song up, so maybe they really could run a...
What is AI?
I don't know, but Iggy was talking about it. I assume it's something.
I like how Tina is in the video giving up the peace sign. The real Tina.
Oh, nice.
Listen to this remix. Listen to the percussion remix.
Isn't there this pink-haired guy?
Nice.
And here is, yep, there's Optimus.
Can't you just envision the entire crowd of 60-some thousand singing the Zooey like that?
Right there.
Right there. Oh, God.
She gave herself like a
Hello.
she gave herself like a triple chin in animation.
It is called Missouri, and James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, and Dougie's online at carltoninsurance.net. He's my insurance agent. He's the Plowix agent. I think you should actually have a monopoly.
All right, I'll take it.
I think you should have a monopoly.
Let's go.
James Carlton is in the Michelob Ultra Studios. Ken Strode. He stuck around when Eric and Drew Swings were in studio, but when you come in, he goes and plays golf rival.
Makes sense.
You got an OnlyFans account?
No, but after those interviews, my God, they're doing quite well.
Yeah, it might be the move. Yep, it might be the move. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our pleasure to welcome to the program the Colonel Gabriel P. DeArman, presented to you by James Carlton. Morning, Colonel.
Hey guys, hey, did you know that at the first homecoming, actually, Tina E. performed with Marching Mizzou? That's how the whole tradition got started.
No idea. Really? The very first one, Doug.
Makes sense now if you think about it.
She performed that song.
Yeah.
God, is that true? I know I can't. I used to ask if that's true, but 15 years ago, I wasn't
Gabe's
even
gonna hang up.
They've got homecoming for like 100 years.
I only say things that are true on this fine program.
Thank you. Clip that off. Colonel, I was reading your column this morning, major recommended reading every Monday, 10 Thoughts from Monday Morning, presented by Will Garrett. And this is quite a comment. You'd argue that it was Eli Drinkwitz's best win in 4 years. I share your opinion on that. Elaborate on your reasoning.
Well, I think the only other one under consideration would be Kansas State 3 weeks ago. I mean, there was the LSU game in 2020, but, that LSU team was blah, and that COVID season, I don't know, it kind of almost didn't count. Then maybe Florida here a couple years ago, but this was on the road, a night game against, frankly, the team that has most prevented Missouri from being what Missouri wants to be the last 8 years. I mean, 7 out of 8 against Kentucky, and these things are all kind of stupid. Like every year, the Missouri coach, whoever it is, gets up there and says, yeah, the last 8 teams or the last 6 teams or whatever aren't playing this game. This is a new year. And that's all true, but these things still kind of loom over programs, and I thought it was big for Missouri to get over that hump.
Well, they certainly did, and it didn't start out very well. What happened there in the first quarter? What was that all about?
Well, I think Missouri thought, we're quite a bit better than Kentucky, so what if we just only play 3 quarters? What if we don't show up until 15 minutes have gone? No, it was as bad as it could get. I mean, I had a couple of people come back at me. The best part about posting and tweeting during games is the after the fact people who come back when they know the result. And 13 minutes in, I had tweeted that it is literally impossible to be more dominated in 13 minutes of football than Missouri had been. And I don't think that was wrong. I mean, they went 3 and out, touchdown, interception, touchdown, punt. I mean, at that point, you were looking at, hey, just find a way to make this competitive and maybe give yourself a chance in the second half. Missouri did that. They deserve a ton of credit. But those first, basically up until the Luke Bauer to Marquise Johnson fake punt for a touchdown, you almost couldn't find a play that had gone well for Missouri.
I would actually argue kind of similar in a weird way, because I asked you this, so this isn't one of those after-the-fact things you're talking about and the magic of social media, but I thought the first quarter against LSU, and James, I know you're as dialed in as anybody when it comes to this, along with Gabe, was about as good as I've seen Missouri play, and I'm talking about in general.
Yeah.
And then I thought the way Missouri played, and also to Kentucky's credit, the way they played in the first quarter was about as bad of a quarter as I had seen Missouri play. And the strange thing is, they lost the game where they played one of their best quarters I had seen them play, and they won the game. They played one of the worst quarters I had seen them play. And I don't know how to explain that outside of I really do think that about those 2 first quarters.
Yeah, I think maybe it's a little bit of a lesson in, you can get up, right, to levels. I mean, Missouri was sky high for that LSU game. Kentucky was clearly up coming off the Georgia game for Missouri coming in on homecoming. But when you get that high and when things go that well, like, there's a crash coming. Now, depending on your talent level and how the other team responds, obviously, sometimes you can survive that. But I don't think Missouri is capable of playing 4 quarters the way it played the first quarter against LSU. I don't think Kentucky is capable of playing 4 quarters at the level it played the first quarter against Missouri. So I think there's the other team kind of wakes up and settles in, and I think Brian Kelly and then Eli Drinkwitz did good jobs of telling their teams, hey, we got a long way to go. When you fall in such a big hole that early, that like the game I always go back to is a few years ago when the Texans jumped out to a 24-0 lead on the Chiefs. It was literally like 12 minutes into the game. And you looked at it and you said, I mean, realistically, this game's probably over, but the only good thing is look how much time's left, right? You can get yourself to believe, hey, if they can beat us this badly for 15 minutes, there's no reason we can't beat them this badly for 15 minutes. And that's what happened. I mean, the second quarter on Saturday, Missouri was just as dominant as Kentucky was in the first quarter.
Gabe, good morning. Going into the season, I don't know if there would have been a player that we had more confidence in than Tyrone Hopper. Tyrone Hopper is missing more tackles than anybody on the team. Is it getting to the point where he is a liability? Is there an injury we don't know about? I'm sure they wouldn't tell us, but I mean, what's going on with Tyrone Hopper right now?
Yeah, if you don't know about it, I don't know about it. The first quarter, I had texted a couple people. I'm like, Hopper's kind of becoming a problem. I think I said last week on the show, like the biggest difference in Missouri's defense, I thought, was that he wasn't playing at the level and the linebackers weren't playing at the level they did last year. He obviously got better the last three quarters. The entire defense got better. That was a little bit more of the defense we expected to see. Now, I thought the defensive line all played its best games of the season. Darius Robinson he just got named the Senior Bowl Defensive Player of the Week this morning. I thought Johnny Walker was really good. Christian Williams and Jaden Jernigan played their best games. But also, that is a one-dimensional offense from Kentucky. For whatever reason, their passing game just isn't a threat. And I think Missouri deserves some credit for that, but it hasn't really been a threat all season long. So they're going to need to go do it against more complete offenses in the second half of the season. But there was at least the last three quarters gave you some hope. Hey, whatever they had last year is maybe still in there somewhere. We just hadn't seen it yet.
How would you rate this crop of wide receivers Missouri has? Is it the best they've had maybe ever? I know they've had some good ones with Macklin and Alexander. They had some All-American type guys, but it's for an entire group, it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I think it's probably better than the 2013 group, which that was like LaDainian Washington, Marcus Lucas, DGB, that crew, because I think Luther Burden is a better number one than anybody on that team was. I just can't put a group of receivers above, Macklin, Alexander, Will Franklin played in the NFL, Jarrett Perry and Tommy Saunders were in NFL camps. Now, what really separated that offense was that you threw in, obviously, two, Mackey Award winners at tight or finalists at tight end as well, and Missouri doesn't have that. But just the Macklin, Alexander, Franklin are three NFL wide receivers, and played in the NFL wide receivers, not just on rosters. So I don't think this is that. It's as good as they've had since then. But I can never, all the time we hear, hey, this guy could be the next Macklin at Missouri. And you're like, well, there was only one in the first 115 years. So I don't know that we're due for a next one yet. I mean, you can make that argument with what Luther's doing this year, but it's up there. I mean, it's the best position on the team. I don't think there's much doubt.
Gabe DeArman is our guest every Monday here on TMA, every Friday on Balloon Party, and each time he is presented to you by James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. Gabe, Missouri taking on South Carolina this Saturday, 2:30 game. This one is Missouri's second straight homecoming game, per Brian Kelly. This is the second straight.
Made Kelly mad.
Homecoming game. James brought this audio to our attention following South Carolina blowing it against Florida on Saturday. Plowek, do you have the audio?
I have Drink's comeback. I think that's about all.
You're going to want to reopen audio.
Shane Beamer.
That's my fault, Plowek.
Shane Beamer, Doug, you would think he might be as angry as a hornet.
Really?
Following this one. And I want to play it because it is, number one, it's entertaining, but then number two, it leads to my question about this coming Saturday. Here we go.
Chance to really ingest it, but looking at the defense, just what did you see as the main problem out there?
I saw the main problem, David. We call pressures and we don't run them. We play man coverage and didn't do a great job of keeping leverage. I mean, just in the first half alone, we ran a pressure where the corner came and for some reason he stopped and we gave up an explosive pass because we didn't continue to run the pressure. We had another pressure call where we didn't run it in the first half. We had a holding penalty in the secondary in the first half. We had another pressure on a third down backed up where we're going to be off the field in the first half and we didn't execute it properly. We talked to our guys about not jumping around the quarterback. We jumped and got beat on a pump fake. We had an offsides in the first half, so just did not play clean football. And then at the end of the day, we had some calls that were perfect calls. We ran a edge pressure. If somebody said, hey, a team is getting ready to run a reverse, what would be the perfect call? You would bring both people off the edge. We did it. We had a perfect call sometimes. And their guy made the play and we didn't. But we got good kids in that room. They're going to continue to make those plays. We've got to continue to do a better job of coaching them and putting them in position.
James, what stood out to you about Shane Beamer?
Yeah, typically after a tough loss like that, a coach will say, it's on us. We're going to get back in the room and work on stuff. It sounded like he was saying, we called the perfect plays, the perfect game, and the players didn't execute. I thought that was relevant because Stoops was the headline on his comments last week following the blowout loss to Georgia about, hey, if you guys want to compete, start ponying up, and that made a lot of headlines, and this is making all the headlines this week, coincidentally, Mizzou's last two opponents and, the opponent coming up this weekend. Those are some comments that I could see a team, if Mizzou jumps out to a first quarter start like they did against LSU, I don't think South Carolina has it in them to come back.
Yeah, how will South Carolina respond to absolutely blowing that one and then their head coach's comments? Gabe, I know you don't know, but that is something to monitor here because Missouri is playing for the third straight time a team coming off of a tough loss. LSU's to Ole Miss, certainly different than Kentucky's to Georgia, but South Carolina's was, I think, the roughest of the three.
Yeah, I think we make too much of a deal of what coaches say. Look, when you lose, there's nothing you can say that's going to placate people. I mean, ultimately, honestly, if you listen to what Shane Beamer said, he's right. His players didn't make plays. You can't go out and, college sports are so weird. Because the coach gets 100% of the blame all the time. Like, if the coach screws up, he gets the blame. If the players screw up, well, the argument is, well, you're in charge of getting the players, so get better players. You screwed up. Like, we don't blame players in college sports. And especially now that so many of them are making money, sometimes it's okay to say the guys just didn't play well enough. But now, I'm not saying Shane Beamer called a perfect game. I don't know. I didn't watch the end of that game. I was watching. I think I was watching Oregon-Washington at that time, but, it's okay to sometimes to say, yeah, we got to play better. I think that there's a lesson for what Missouri needs to expect in this series. Last year, South Carolina was coming off a big win. They had just gotten ranked. Missouri was having this kind of so-so season. They went into Columbia, South Carolina. South Carolina was a favorite by about a touchdown, and Missouri dominated that game, 123-10. Like, Missouri's an 8-point favorite. They are a better team than South Carolina, but not by such a stretch that they can go, yeah, just roll the helmets out. We're good. They're not good enough to do that in any game the rest of the year. And obviously, I know Eli knows that. I know on some level the players know it, but there's a difference between knowing it and getting them to play like it, right? I mean, I think that Missouri fans are already saying, okay, we're 7-1 going to Georgia. Well, I mean, South Carolina can win this game. Yeah. I don't. It would hardly be the biggest upset in college football if they do win this game. So Missouri has to come out and be ready and play a representative football game and take this team seriously. I don't know why they wouldn't, to be quite honest, but we've seen things happen before.
It is amazing how quickly and drastically expectations change. If Missouri doesn't have a huge season now, we're all going to be completely disappointed. And at the start of the year, we were thinking 6 wins, maybe 7.
Yeah, I wrote this morning, if Missouri finishes 8-4, it will now seem a little bit disappointing. And that's okay. Like, it's fine to change your expectations. But you also have, I said, if Missouri finishes 8-4, I'm not going to call this a bad game. That at the beginning of the year was what I said. You hit 8 wins. That's clear progress. That's reason to feel good about the future. That's hitting everything you need to hit. And if they finish 8-4, like, it means a 2-3 finish, and yes, that will be disappointing, but it won't be a bad season by any means. But yeah, my expectation for this team is now 9-3 and maybe better.
James, do you have something you would like to ask the Colonel? You're always loaded for bear, and I don't want to step on you.
No, you're fine.
You are the sponsor here.
No, you're fine. I mean, I did watch that South Carolina-Florida game. Some selfish interest on that one. I should have been watching Oregon,
you have a little
Washington.
wager? Yeah, I was about to say, how are you not watching Oregon,
I had
Washington?
South Carolina to cover, and they blew a 10-point lead with 5 minutes left.
I'm sorry.
But
what was the number on that one?
2. And they've given up 41 points their last 2 games. They had a bye week last week, but their last 2 games they've given up 41 points. against Florida and Tennessee. Tennessee's looking good on the ground, but their passing game is not impressive. And so, I mean, if Mizzou can't get things right, because honestly, Brady Cook has thrown some really bad interceptions after setting the SEC record. He had a clean pocket. Luther Burden was at least double, maybe triple covered. He tried to force that one in the first quarter. Really bad pick. Same with that second quarter interception against LSU. I kind of want him to get his mojo back. It looks like he's more mobile now, so I'm excited about that. But if Mizzou doesn't put up a lot of offensive numbers this week, I'd be shocked. Do you see any chance that South Carolina's defense can withhold or hold back Missouri's offense this coming Saturday?
I mean, it would be surprising. Missouri should score in the 30s in this game, you would think. I mean, they've scored in the 30s out of 4 straight games, maybe, something like that, against Power 5 competition. So they played very well. I thought it was actually encouraging that Luther did very little on Saturday, and Missouri still found a way to win.
I agree.
Really
I agree
good.
with that. Yep.
Mookie Cooper came up with a couple of big catches. Now, that said, I thought what Kentucky did was, and look, I haven't gone back and watched the game, and I'll be interested to talk to Eli Drinkwitz tomorrow and ask him a little more about it, but it seemed very clear to me that Kentucky came out and said, okay, we're not going to lose 2 ways. Number one, Luther Burden's not beating us. If somebody else beats us, so be it, but Luther Burden's not beating us. Number 2, big plays are not beating us, right? Missouri's offense had gotten a lot better, explosive plays, deep passes, things like that. They really didn't even throw the ball downfield other than the pick and the touchdown to Theo Weiss. I can't remember a pass, and the fake punt, which is different, but I can't remember a pass that went more than 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. I haven't looked at the passing chart, but everything was short and quick and to the flats and all that, and I've got to believe that's because that was what was available. Yeah. But I actually think that's encouraging because Missouri showed, hey, we can go up and down the field 6-7 yards at a time. We can be methodical. We can avoid mistakes. They didn't have the penalties that killed them. They didn't have, they had the 1 turnover, but after that, they got it fixed. So I thought those were good things to see out of the Missouri offense.
Colonel, what percentage right now? They play 100 times in Athens. I think this is going to be a 2:30 CBS start, with Alabama LSU being the nightcap of the CBS doubleheader on November 4th. That's my expectation, James, by the way. I like to play these games with the start times. How many times out of 100 Missouri plays Georgia in Athens? At this moment, do you believe Missouri beats Georgia in Athens?
10, 12.
All right. No, there you go. Yeah. There you go. I'm in the 8 to 10%. Plowhawk is 23%. Worsonwood's Wacko, by the way, has 69%.
Here's the thing about Georgia, though. Georgia very much is a team that you can tell they are not super interested in most of these games. They feel like they can kind of turn it on when they get to the SEC title game. And they honestly, maybe they can. I mean, it hasn't burned them yet, right? They beat South Carolina. It wasn't super inspiring. They beat Vandy. It wasn't inspiring at all that. But there was 1 week when people started talking, hey, maybe this is Kentucky's week. And clearly, Georgia entered that game and said, all right, you have our attention. Let's see how this goes for you. And it went 51-13 and could have been far worse. Missouri will have Georgia's attention. If not because they roll in 7-1 to Athens, because of what happened last year. I said at the beginning of the year, the thing I'm most confident in Missouri's season is that they would beat South Dakota. The thing I'm second most confident in is that they will lose in Athens, Georgia, because of what happened last year. Now, that's changed a little bit. I give Missouri more of a chance than I would have given them two months ago. But 7-1 Missouri going in, considering what happened last year, I would fully anticipate you get a full week of Kirby Smart convincing his team that no one thinks they're good enough. I mean,
God, he's the worst.
And that's I don't think anybody, Eli Drinkwitz wouldn't argue that Missouri can beat Georgia's A game. If Georgia comes out and plays an A game, that game's over. And it's true for every team in the country except, I don't know, maybe Michigan and Washington could compete with Georgia's A game. I think that's about it. But I'm not sure either one of them would win. So, look, the recipe always involves Georgia being a little bit off or a little bit uninterested. I don't think they will be uninterested. That doesn't mean they couldn't make mistakes and lose the game, but I do think Missouri will get Georgia's attention.
Colonel, before we let you go, last week, Ken Strode, who spent some time, did he spend time in the NFL, Doug, or did he spend time...
I think it was the NFL.
He was in the NFL.
Canadian League.
Yeah, he was with the Argonauts, I remember. And he was adamant that Missouri should have faked a punt on 4th and 32 with the game on the line in the fourth quarter's final seconds against LSU. Just for those who didn't get a chance to hear it, Gabe, here was your response to that thought.
Well, I know you came on wanting to talk uniforms, but we want to get away from that and talk about why Missouri didn't try a fake punt on 4th and 32.
Wait, is that a serious thing?
Yeah, sure is.
Cut that off.
According to who?
Well, Ken Strode works on the show. He is here and there, however, and unfortunately, he is not in the studio at the moment, but in the 7 o'clock hour, he was, I think, serious and adamant that they should have gone with a fake punt on 4th and 30.
All due respect, please pass along my input that is the worst football idea I've ever heard. If you want to actually just punt, I'll listen to the argument they should have just punted on 4th and 32. That's fine. But a fake punt is, I don't know, man.
Well, you put Burden out there and you throw in the ball.
Or speed option.
Yeah, what about the fullback guy?
Yeah, could get a couple.
Gabe, and now, of course, the world has changed, and the fake punt is the story of the 2023 Missouri Tigers. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think it proves that really a fake punt is the call. 1st and 10, fake punt.
I agree with that. You're going to see a lot more.
They never see it coming.
I also think that I need to find out Ken's username on Power Mizzou, because he is excellent at just saying something outrageous and then leaving. He doesn't even sit around for when I'm on the show. So that's a really good message board tactic. Just say something incredibly stupid and never come back and answer for it in the thread. That is message boarding 101 right there.
I was watching your post-game show once again, my wife and I in bed, and you're joining us. It's so hot. It's just so hot. And she walks in as I'm watching this, and she's getting ready to come in, and she goes, "Oh, God, not this again." And I thought, that's not the way you greet the Colonel. No.
I like to think that you even do that after 11 a.m. games. The show starts at 3:15, and you're just like, all right.
I'm in bed. Anna Marie, come here, watch this. Here's the Colonel. But I noticed that about 10% of the comments are our listeners, and they're asking you about taking your shirt off. Are you wearing pants? What does the P stand for?
Constant vacations to Italy during the season.
That's exactly right. That's what the Colonel has to deal with.
I think this is just. I think there's a good crossover. We can pay each other commissions. So I guess
that's not a bad idea. Yeah, podcast motivational speakers who just have their own little ecosystem where they jerk off listeners into believing that they can figure out their lives by screaming at them. That's what we need to do. Yeah, I like that. We got another business model, Doug. How many businesses have we started on this show?
A lot.
And then how many have we actually executed?
None, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Zero.
Tim, nobody on this call can even figure out their own lives. We don't need to be figuring out anybody else.
That's a good lesson for the whole show. Colonel, thank you so much as always. Missouri, South Carolina this Saturday at Faurot Field. This time it's really homecoming, 2:30, Tigers and Gamecocks. Thank you, Colonel.
All right, guys, have a good one.
There he is, the great
thanks,
Gabe DeArman. His middle initial is P, and he deals with our audience in his YouTube chat post-game. He had 600-700 people watching that thing at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
I was in, too.
You were one of them?
I was in there, too.
Do you see the comments that come, you can tell from
I definitely saw the
listeners?
fake punt comment. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, you know who the listeners are.
Did you leave any comments?
I think it was Hunchback of Von Castle. I mean, he had the names.
He was in there. There was a guy in there, something in Wentzville, giving Strode credit for the fake punt.
I'm sure Gabe loved that. All that writing and research he does.
Oh, God. And you could tell, I forgot to ask him, you could tell he was kind of you could tell, you were watching it, that he wasn't speaking normally. And my guess is his wife was in bed and he's doing it from his house.
Yeah, he was quiet. He was in the basement somewhere, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so then he's got our nitwits, trying to haze him into saying something.
Oh, man.
And he's doing that at 11 o'clock, and then the next morning he wakes up and he's got a defensive lineman yelling at him for not saying that Missouri
was
has a
odd.
better team. That was odd.
Yeah.
Everybody's disrespected these days,
Yeah,
Doug.
right. Nobody likes it.
Kirby Smart is going to say nobody thinks the Missouri Tigers, or you can beat the Missouri Tigers here at home on November 4th. That's what he's going to convince those guys.
That's pretty much the consensus around the country is that Georgia
Thank you.
has no shot.
Thank you.
No chance.
And wouldn't Drink look good in Burgundy when he takes that Texas A&M job?
Oh, here we go.
Well, I remember James during the break goes, at least we're not talking about coaching changes, and I just wanted to take a little coaching change shot there at James, because Drink is really night and day different from last year.
Every future cast has Ryan Wingo going to Missouri.
I can't, but they get him, it's over.
Even
because
Texas.
My
What do you mean
theory,
it's over?
They got a team set up for next year like no team Missouri has had.
Bird and
since-
Wingo and maybe McClellan.
Yeah, just-
and
then you have Johnson another year,
Cook is
and-
back.
James Madison, he's a four-star.
Yeah, dude,
He's like 6'5".
They're going to be loaded, and
Think
that's
of these
a trickle
guys,
down
Georgia
effect.
has no shot
That's
to
right.
beat them next year.
Well, doesn't Slew have Slew High have a tight end that is
Orlando Pace's
Pace's son, who's like a
That's correct.
sophomore, just killing it? I mean, you never know that trickle down. You get Wingo, you get a lot of other players, I think.
If it's Pace's son, I worry that the kid won't be big enough.
Thank
He
you.
is.
Good for
They did a
saying it.
story about him the other day on some local news. I know it wasn't KMOB. They don't cover sports. But it was good. It was good, and he looks like a player, man. I don't know the exact age. I think a sophomore, but yeah, get him in Missouri. They need a tight end presence. Norfleet looked good, but in a couple
Norfleet
years-
does look good.
Really good.
Kids
No
are-
I miss
Tyler
seeing Stevens
targets.
dropping balls. That was
No
fun
targets.
against LSU.
Yeah, he had no targets on Saturday.
Yeah, I think Northfleet had 40 snaps. I mean,
is
well over
good.
doubled Stevens this
Yeah.
game.
True freshman, Norfleet.
Yeah, and so is Johnson, and that was not a heralded class that Drinkwitz brought in last year. And look
Far
at these.
from it.
Good.
I mean, Johnson and Norfleet, and even Burks has seen the field a little bit. This guy Philip Roach on Saturday made
Roach
a play.
looked really
You know what
good.
they are? Mizzou made.
That's right.
I don't like that.
True sons. One of them from Texas. Yeah. So what is it? A quick flight to Atlanta, and then what? A 40-minute drive to Athens?
I have never been to Athens. You have been.
I think, but I drove. So I think the move would be a quick flight.
I actually wouldn't mind driving, honestly, as weird as it is. Especially if me and my wife went, we'd have that peace.
Yeah.
Oh.
Could listen to some shows, maybe best of.
Yeah, well, we just listen to my work because I know that'd be a turn on for.
Anne Marie balloon party.
Yeah, Anna Marie. Here's me hopped up on heaps of cocaine in 2005
for
while
like
the cat and Martin put up with it.
For like 7 hours.
Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be fun?
So much fun.
To
Oh, and
listen
on the
to you
way back,
blabber for
Edmonds and
7
McKernan show.
Yeah.
Did you listen back when you were first getting into the business to critique
No.
yourself? You've never listened back?
No, never, ever.
can't.
No. Because we're not doing anything of importance.
In TV,
My inflection on that,
in
that Ella Reese breakdown.
In TV, you watch your shows because you desperately want one to go perfectly that you can put on a resume tape to try to
Get
get another
out.
job somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I guess now, with the benefit of hindsight, I would watch more of my sportscast than ever listen to any shows I do on radio, for sure. But I think part of that is exactly what Doug said: resume reels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Just trying to desperately get out.
yeah.
You want it out of
Or
Minnesota?
did I have my tie lopsided like my skull? You know, those are the things I would think through. Sometimes, you know, if Julius and Larry had a longer dinner at Charlie Gito's, I would turn into Dave Chappelle during my sportscast, at least for them. Because
some
they
bits.
they really were amused by it. It might not have been that funny, but they were in a good place. and so then I would look at them and I'd be like, oh, that was pretty good. It wasn't that funny, but they seemed to like it.
There you go.
But I think they were in a good place. So yes, I have not gone back and
Well,
listened.
this is
And
the time. That's right.
And I think for the rare time I can speak for Doug, there's not a chance in hell Doug has ever gone back and listened to a show. Am I correct?
No, why would you?
Well, you had to have when
hate being on it live.
Buck Swope had you on for like the DMV one. I mean, did you get to listen to that back? Because that was classic.
No.
You still?
You
I mean,
sounded
that's your tape.
miserable during the
That's your
entire
tape.
interview.
I wasn't miserable. I was just,
You can say it.
I'm not that impressed by myself.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a blast.
There he is, the great James
All right,
Carlton.
thanks, James.
See you
He's
next
going
week.
to Columbia.
That's right. That's right.
He's not going to Athens, but then he's going to Columbia for the Vols. And then he's going to Columbia for the Gators. You going to Fayetteville? No. Pitch out, nobody going. Sam
All
Pittman
right, see
might
you,
not be there
James.
either.
Great stop.
You know, the great James Carlton, carltoninsurance.net. Doesn't sound like Gabe was ready to issue an apology for his fake punt take.
No.
I think it's apples to apples, and I think he's wrong, and I'm going to call him after the show and hold him accountable.
Yeah, he needs to.
If Jim was a different yard marker, you were down,
Right.
20 extra yards.
Iggy, I tried to get Gabe to apologize for the fake punt take, and he would not. So that was disappointing. That's not the man I thought he was.
You're not watching the game?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll send the audio of the realist George. See how he likes it.
Colonel getting held accountable on Twitter by the Missouri defensive line.
Iggy, you have any other tips for the Mizzou club that might help them against South Carolina?
Yeah, just run the ball and keep the ball out of Rattler's hands.
Nice.
Okay, run the ball, keep the ball out of Rattler's hands.
Short little passes. Maybe get it to Burden this week, other than 2 targets.
Yeah, ruined his Heisman chances, but
Not necessarily.
He's not a Heisman candidate.
you would have to have. Oh yeah, he is.
I don't think
so.
so.
100%.
No.
100%. It's a week.
I mean, if Missouri beats Georgia and he goes off, he's a Heisman candidate.
Yeah, 180 yard, couple touchdowns, you're in it again.
But that of course would require
Brady Cook to
now,
just a whole bunch of things.
Even before that game, I don't think he was a top 5. I mean, there's too many good
No,
quarterbacks.
but you're talking first team All-American, and that.
Who's your top 3 in the Heisman, Iggy? Because you love Caleb Williams.
Well,
you put him in there?
It was Caleb Williams. It's not now. He's dropped to 3. Bo Nix and Pendrix Jr.
What about Drake May?
Hendricks. George Hendricks. Remember George Hendricks? Silent George.
Silent George, yeah. Who was anything but silent away from the media. Had nothing to say at all to the press.
I think it's a 2-man race between J.J. McCarthy and Penix, right? Like
Drake May has to be in that conversation.
Yeah, I said my top 3. And it goes from week to week. I mean, Caleb Williams is 1.
I really think LSU is going to have a good shot at winning the SEC West, and Jaden Daniels will have a lot to do with that. So there's my long shot play. Doug, long shot play Heisman, Jaden Daniels, long shot play college football playoff North Carolina. Do with it what you want.
Okay, I will.
And might as well throw something on Missouri in there, too.
And they'll probably throw Shakir Sanders in there just to get him to New York.
Shakira, her hips don't lie. Fun.
Well, his numbers are legit. I mean, in
400
terms
yards
of win,
passing.
in terms of win-loss record, he'll not get in there because it's not what they do. But he should. I mean, his numbers don't lie; they're legit. It wasn't him that gave up 40-some-odd points in the second half. I think he's amazing.
I think the atmosphere against South Carolina this weekend is going to be out.
You going?
Yeah.
Fight!
Oh,
Jackson!
you got
Not
your
at Barney's this week, Doug.
Got your tickets already?
Yep.
Where are you going to sit?
In the stadium.
Oh.
In the rocks? They've been filling up the rocks this year.
No, I'd sooner sit.
Want to sit in?
Yeah, for real.
Those
never
rocks are
watch.
very uncomfortable.
Doug, here's your Bovada numbers. Who do you think the Heisman favorite is at this moment?
Caleb Williams.
No, I'm sorry. He is 6th.
Got to be Penix Jr. after that.
Nicely done, Plowhawks.
Gotta
They
be.
call him Penix, but it's Pendrix.
I call him Penix.
He is minus 150.
He ain't went off, man. He got the 3-bet one. That wide receiver core is unbelievable that they have.
I don't know if I would put him at minus 150. I certainly can understand why he's the favorite, but minus 150 that's a big favorite. And then second is J.J. McCarthy at plus 850. Plowhawk, you'd go, it's value season.
Value as hell. I mean, that team,
Dylan Gabriel plus 900. I'd be surprised on that one. Jordan Travis plus 900. Jaden Daniels there plus 1,200.
Ain't gonna be
That'd be worth throwing a unit on there.
And Bo Nix is completing 80% of his passes.
Bo Nix is plus 3,500. You love Bo Nix. You love the Pac-12 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
He's
a big Pac-12 guy.
I don't know. He stays up so late, I guess. You stay up late watching these games?
Well, they're on weekends. I don't have to get up in the
Well,
morning.
they're all on weekends.
Yeah, but
they're all Wisconsin players.
It's different if it's like
Not
third.
Maction.
If there was
Maction's a Tuesday night degenerate special. Oh, you just lost your ass on Monday Night Football. Don't worry. Here, we'll inject this into your veins.
The thing with J.J.
It's
McCarthy.
Toledo.
McCarthy, he has what? He has a game against Penn State and Ohio State. I mean, I think he has a couple more bigger games to showcase than Penix Jr. So I'm giving my pick to JJ.
Well, how about this? Whores. Only 21 teams are given a chance to win the national championship per the fine people at Bovada. And guess who one of those teams is?
Mizzou.
Go, fight, win.
Sure.
Rip them up.
Well, it's possible because if they run the table from here on out, they're going to be in the playoff. So that makes
There's
it
only
possible.
21 teams with no losses or one loss.
Let's see if there's any 2 losses in there. LSU is a 2-loss team, and they're plus 1,000. Crap. That kind of blows up what I thought was a stealth play. LSU's plus 1,000 to win the national championship. Doug, you want to guess what Missouri is?
No.
If you put $100 and Missouri wins the national championship, which I think at this point everybody's kind of expecting.
Yeah. Certainly they are in Georgia because they get no respect there.
Right.
Plus 5,000.
4,000?
Plow, you want to throw one at the pot?
What is it again?
No, forget it.
Well, no, I like to.
That's what we're
I like to
asking.
buy time.
Yeah, it's a standard delay tactic. It's like if you're in the spelling bee, can you use it in a sentence? I don't care what sentence you say. I'm buying time.
You say Missouri national championship odds?
Yes, what they're for example, Michigan's plus 310, Georgia's plus 325, Florida State plus 700,
5,000.
Washington plus 750, Jackson
Plus 8,000.
plus 30,000.
Oh, come on.
See, that's
Show
kinda-
us some respect.
That's kind of stupid, though.
Throw 100 on that and get 30,000 in early January and just snort heaps.
I wouldn't do that.
They have a better path than LSU, right?
LSU wins out LSU, I believe. LSU's issue is getting in the college football playoff. Missouri wins out. They're in the college
That's what I'm
football
saying. I don't
playoff.
see LSU
unless Michigan, Florida State, Washington, and Oklahoma go undefeated. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Because then you'd have 4 undefeated Power 5 conference champions. And it's Missouri. The only team that has fewer odds that are listed on Bovada. Anybody want to take a bet? Gotta be quick. I don't have the time.
Initials, please. Initials.
Anybody want to throw a bet before I give initials? Because the initials thing really usually blows it.
I don't know.
FSU, I don't know.
Florida State's plus 700, they're third.
Oh.
Duke,
D.
Wow.
Okay.
plus 50,000.
They're undefeated, right?
No,
They lost to the Irish.
Thing is with Penn
And the thing, I view with a couple of these teams that are flying under the radar, I think Duke's really good, but their quarterback got hurt, and then they lost in the final seconds to Notre Dame. Otherwise, that would be a great value play. Plus 50,000.
Well, you look at Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, they all have to play each other.
That's correct. All in the next few weeks.
So pretty much 2 of them are out.
How about the fact that Iowa isn't even given a number, and they really are likely to finish 11-1? They're not even given a chance.
They don't care. Dude.
Did you see they had 55,000 for an Iowa women's basketball game?
In the worst possible
Clark.
position of the field.
In the end zone, that was weird, but that was really cool to see.
Notre Dame's plus 20,000 with 2 losses. And what is their deal? Are they in the conference or not this year? They were in the conference during the COVID year.
I don't think that. I think they're like. Are they considered an ACC?
They play
team?
an ACC schedule, but they're still independent, which allows them to play like USC, for example.
Their schedule is crazy. Our team schedule, they played 3 of the last 4 weeks they played ranked teams?
Yeah. I think Notre Dame's really, they played USC and Ohio State, and then they still have ACC games. But the one that is a sneaker play that I probably really will throw $100 on is North Carolina. Again, do I expect them to win? No. But for plus 7,000 and the road that's there for them?
Yeah. They basically
The issue is once they actually have to play, one of these Michigan, Georgia operations, or Ohio State or Penn State.
I'll take your $100 bet. Cletus will back me.
Cletus will cover the 7,000?
Yeah.
Cletus, please.
Cletus just made a bet that he doesn't know about.
For 7,000. His upside is $50. His downside is a loss of 7,000. You gotta bet that.
It's a free $50 for him.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's the Biff mindset.
Yeah.
Plow, you think that's a good deal?
Oh, for Cletus all day.
Yeah.
Open up that pocketbook, honey.
But he might lose $7,000.
As soon as they lose another
you can't
game,
go into a bet like
as
that.
soon as they lose another game,
they haven't lost.
He's going to get. Well, if they lose one game, he's going to make $50.
You got to think about that
Well, if they
Texas
lose
Roadhouse.
and they win the ACC.
Yeah, they still won't get in.
Okay.
Oh, no.
This could be audio that's played for years.
Why don't you take the bet? I'll have to call Cletus.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's an important part of the equation.
Where the money comes.
Cletus, you want to put
The
up?
most important, actually.
Cletus, you want to put up $8
Couldn't
grand?
be
to
more
wanna-
important.
You want to put up $8 grand?
Well, now
to
you've
win
moved it to
50?
$8,000. Thank you. 3,000 for me.
Yeah, you want to put up. Well, he's got. You want to put up 7,000 to win 50?
For the fees.
I don't know why he wouldn't take that.
I don't know why it's free 50 for him.
Exactly.
It's like you get to go to Texas Roadhouse and have a steak.
Why do you get 50 out of this?
He's a broker. It's a broker.
I made the bet.
Yeah, all right.
He just backed me. I made the bet.
What if we just told him about the bet and then he wouldn't have to share with you?
Well,
The integrity of it.
It only,
Yeah, there's
it only
integrity.
works if I make the bet myself.
Why would that be the case?
Well, I don't think Cletus can log into anything, right? So, like,
I don't know.
I'll keep him appraised to the score.
Cletus has issued a statement. I think I'll pass.
He probably got other money that's
I'll
invested.
wait till the end of the year. Cost yourself $50.
Yep. Illinois Recovery Center is the new premier inpatient substance abuse facility in Swansea, Illinois. When it comes to the disease of addiction, getting help should not be as difficult as it currently is. The Illinois Recovery Center's mission is to be the receiving hand in the community when someone seeks help. The IRC delivers a comprehensive system of care that welcomes both the individuals struggling and families alike. If you or someone you know wants to learn about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or email info@illinoisrecoverycenter.com. We have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today coming your way in a matter of moments. Jackson, what's coming up on the award-winning balloon party?
We got the Little Pills weekend wrap-up, and then Jeremy Rutherford at 10:45 talking Blues hockey.
Go. Blue Note. Beat Coyote. Go Blue Note. Beat Coyote and go fight. Win.
Still trying to, for tomorrow, still trying to get Jason Momoa in studio.
Okay.
Doubt it'll happen, but I'm trying.
What are you doing to try?
I reached out to his people and his publicist. And
Can you ask Cletus if he can get it done?
no, it's amazing. I mean, I know he's a popular guy, but I saw the lines this morning. He's here tomorrow and Wednesday. I don't know where he's at today. I guess somewhere in the Midwest. There is a line around the building of the supermarket. And you can't just, I don't think you can just walk in and meet the guy. I think you got to buy vodka to get in there. I'm pretty sure. I don't think you just have a meet and greet if you don't have to buy anything just to say hi and get a picture without buying any vodka.
I don't know.
Kendall Jenner was in Champaign.
Was she really?
She was.
She dating an Illinois player?
She was hawking a new drink she was selling at the local supermarket there. I think that's what the case was.
Nolan Gorman was at the Schnucks by my house.
Absolutely,
and they had a line up 100 yards long for that.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
My friend at After the Game Inc. had a card show this weekend. What a lineup. He had Bo Jackson, Scott Rowland, Ozzie Smith.
Home run by the river.
Was Ollie there?
Ozzie Smith.
Imagine
Ollie
those
Roman?
lined up at Ollie Marmal's at the end signing hats.
Ozzie was there. Lee Smith was there. Jim Cotton. He had a pretty good show.
Kitty
Cat.
What was Lee Smith's nickname? Big Grease? Was it Big Grease?
That was Ryan Pickett.
Big Oil? What's it Big Oil?
Big Craig.
Big Oil, Big Pharma? Is it Big Pharma?
Probably say Big Crank.
Yeah.
Jeff Lottman's online at JEFFLOTTMANN.com. That's JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Yeah, 22 years of experience in St. Louis. My guess is he was all over LSU this weekend, all over North Carolina this weekend, all over Notre Dame this weekend, all over Missouri this weekend. Probably had a sharp play on Arkansas on the points.
Mm-hmm.
Probably loved Michigan laying the points. Probably loved, what else? Ohio State laying the points. This guy's a sharp, and he's sharp at real estate too. JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Compass Realty, luxury experience. Jeff Lottman, Lottman Realty. Ladies and gentlemen, time for the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Lake Perry is an hour from my driveway, which means each trip is me listening to Tim for 2 hours for inspiration. But for my self-pleasuring sessions, I listen to Doug. Because breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it don't matter. Doug Vaughn's voice makes my third leg fatter. That's from Doug, and then the middle initial is S, and then the last name is Crotum.
Doug S. Crotom.
Nothing beats the majesty of the first gape of a crisp autumnal morn. I could see the last of his breath seeping through the seat of my gray boner pants.
Oh.
His pumpkin spice Axe body spray still tingling in my beard pelt. God, I love this time of the year. That's from the Calcified Ear.
Calcified Ear.
What's better, links or patties? I asked if you prefer links or patties. Answer me, you cowards. We're talking about sausage here. It's not a difficult question, so I'll ask again. Do you enjoy sausage links or sausage patties?
Links.
If you said links, you're wrong.
Oh.
And if you said patties, you're also wrong. The correct answer is Dale's sausage. Savory yet sweet, big, not offensively oversized, just enough meat to scratch your itch.
Is this sponsored?
I just read what's in the prompter.
Okay.
Visually appealing, no. Curious, a little too hairy, yes. Tasty, not quite. Dale's sausage is beloved in the bi-state region. because it's refreshing and it goes down smooth, like the last few swigs of a warm $12 Budweiser when you're roasting in the Busch Stadium bleachers as the last-place team struggles to score even one single run. You know, there are better options out there, but you finish it because it was expensive and you're poor. That's how Dale's sausage makes me feel. Shamed yet satisfied, nauseous yet ready for some more. Some more of Dale's pork pistol.
Oh!
So nice you'll want it twice if your gaping back door can handle it, Dale's sausage, because you like nice man meat. It's in the JV Golf Coach. Is that a new sponsor?
It sounded like it. JV Golf Coach with very odd email.
There's a meme going around about, God, I forgot his name. Who's the really weird celebrity? But he's on a podcast. He goes, what about sausage? I want to talk about sausage. You know what I'm talking about?
No. Can we get initials?
Gary Busey. Gary Busey.
You say Busey, Doug?
Busey.
He's selling sausage now?
But he's on a podcast, and his hair's all over the place. Guy goes, I want to talk about this thing. Wait a minute. What about sausage? I'm not talking about sausage. You ever think about sausage?
Put that off. Well, it was a Jim Dandy of a Saturday night with the Tigers and Blues both winning. It wasn't looking good early for Mizzou, but Elia rallied the troops with a pep talk when he said, we will rally around Iggy's fake punt idea and we will play good football. What were the members of the dais doing? Well, one of them was prancing around Fright Fest in his no-scare necklace. I'm not for sure if he paid the $6.99 like a sucker or if he borrowed someone else's necklace to keep the teenagers dressed as monsters from harassing him. Then he bopped over to the Holiday Inn to stream the game during a wedding where he didn't know anyone. Meanwhile, 30 minutes away down Route 66, another member of the presentation was going door to door until he found a bar that had SEC Network and posted up at Barney's over there in the strip mall next to the vape shop and the Cupcake Cartel. Me, I was locked in on the Mizzou game from the opening kickoff through the postgame when I could hear them bumping Tina Chen in the locker room. Well, I got a little distracted when a married woman, 25 years my junior, who was briefly the entertainment reporter for the Morning Grind nearly 2 decades ago, slid into my DMs while she was at the Notre Dame USC game to ask me about Caleb Williams, plus some IT questions like what antivirus program I use on the masturbation station. Then I had to scroll through dozens of posts praising Lexi Thompson for missing a cut before I could tell my married work associate how adorable she looked in her AI-generated high school photos before searching AI high school photos OnlyFans leak. Let's say you went to Brown and you were making over $50,000 a month on your OnlyFans page. Would you consider letting an old man sit in the corner fully clothed while you berate him for searching for OnlyFans leaks instead of paying for the content? Doug, that's Buck Swope.
Not a bad little email, Buck.
And that's what we have for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day.
Okay.
What you got?
The first two were weird. The JV Golf Coach was a commercial for sausage. So I have to vote for Buck Swope.
God almighty. Calcified ear. I
go calcified ear as well. Lucas. Calcified ear. You have won the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, and Jackson and I have won because we're about to go do an hour program on 101 ESPN, and they do not like it. They do not like it. But you can participate and not like it too by going to YouTube and switching over to the 101 ESPN channel or just by listening on 101 ESPN. Time for us to shut it down. For the Plowhawk, for Action Jacks, for Kenneth Iggy Strode, for Murder Kevin, for Douglas Vaughn, to McKernan, the Spin, the Morning After from the Michelob Ultra Studios.
TMA presents their second ever